Greetings, comrades. Welcome to All Power to the People podcast on Grown Folks Talking, Express Yourself Internet Radio via the Huddle Team app. We meet every Sunday at 12 p.m. Eastern Time. We discuss local, national, and global events that impact the material conditions of the people. The people are rising, the people are rising, the lives are young, the lives are young. We won't be broken, we won't be broken. I hear at home with pockets so I need you. I'm dying in the spike, I'm in the bushing in the street.
Okay, my question I'd like to ask you is why are you here today?
Apoyando a los gobiernistas, que son compañeros de nosotros también.
Okay.
Nosotros.
Sí, seguro, y a la misma vez tenemos un contrato que se va a acabar en este año, ¿no? En menos de dos meses. Y si no, dice que es posible que los dueños no hacen pagar por insurance.
Sí.
Porque los dueños son que pagan los insurance de nosotros y se están amenazando para sacar deductibles o para cobrar por operaciones o fomentar el periodo. Exactly. Yeah.
Ellos son de nosotros y nosotros también tengamos que salir. Ellos también nos van a respaldar a nosotros porque nos van a ayudar a nosotros.
Así seguimos apoyando, señor. Y como decimos, all power to the people.
All power to the people.
And the reason I asked them that because our contract ends at the end of June.
Okay.
And the hotel owners are threatening our insurance. And they're going to ask us to pay either for our operations and deductibles or pay as if we're getting a private insurance of our own. And it's pretty good insurance as well. So we're fighting for that contract and possibility of a strike if they don't. So yes, that's why I'm on point and I'm here to represent them as well as the party.
I got the bread.
Help us around.
I heard he got the red book. I heard what the other half was saying about how you was traveling with the Bible everywhere you went. Madness and revolution. I mean, this is our Bible right because we are martyrs. We're martyrs. When you read the book, it explains for you how you're supposed to treat the people, how you're supposed to move in the society and the community. And it also tells you about relationships, the relationships that we have all learned to forge in society. Yo, that's my comrade, man. You see, I come to bring you the food. But whenever Pastor Keith called me, I'm coming. I mean, and that, like, remember, he's my friend since I was in middle school. I mean, like, but our relationship is not stronger than what we have been. I mean, so whenever you need me, whenever you call me, I know I'm pulling up, man. I mean, we're going to do this a lot more for a while. I'm baby. Me and my birthday.
Yeah, that's good right there. Is it even showtime yet? Let me look at the time. Yeah, it's 12 o'clock. Oh, it's showtime. It's showtime. Let me go back and see sound.
Greetings, comrades. Welcome to All.
And the reason I asked them that because our contract ends at the end of June.
Greetings, comrades. Welcome to All Power to the People podcast on Grown Folks Talking, Express Yourself Internet Radio via the Huddle Team app. We meet every Sunday at 12 p.m. Eastern Time. We discuss local, national, and global events that impact the material conditions of the people. We won't be broken, we won't be broken. We stand as one, we stand as one.
The people are rising, the people are rising, the lies are done, the lies are done. People won't be broken, website at the bottom as well as our Instagram for African. You send up on you about how it's a me. Alright. You're at home, so much easy. Telling dying, and it's like swamp, and it does struggle too, and it's like.
Okay, my question I'd like to ask you is why are you here today?
Apoyando a nuestros compañeros y nosotros también. Ellos apoyan a nosotros.
Sí, seguro, y a la misma vez tenemos un contrato que se va a acabar en este año, ¿no? En menos de dos meses. Y si no, dice que es posible que los dueños no hacen pagar por insurance. Porque los empleados, los dueños son que pagan el insurance de nosotros y se están amenazando para sacar deductibles o para cobrar por operaciones o fomentar el peligro.
Esta vida a los Airbnb también.
Exactly. Yeah.
Ellos son nosotros. Y nosotros también tengamos que salir. Ellos también van a.
Yeah, Hot Rod, you can hear me, A-Rod? Do you hear me, Rodrigo? I see you. Yeah, you can hear me, right?
I can hear you.
Yeah, next time, let's try to get this right here. Try to get it in English or something so people can understand what y'all talking about. You see the you see the caption?
Yeah, it's in Spanish.
And y'all
that was Jeremy.
And y'all speak in Spanish.
I didn't set this up.
Oh, that's Jeremy that did that.
Yeah, I just sent him the video footage.
Got you.
He did that, yeah.
Got you, comrade. But I would love to hear him see it in English, whatever. But
yeah, I do summarize what he says about our conversation we had.
Oh, out to the people. All right, let me see.
Seguimos apoyando, señor. All power to the people. Okay. And the reason I asked him that because our contract ends at the end of June, and the hotel owners are threatening our insurance, and they're going to ask us to pay either for our operations and deductibles or pay as if we're getting a private insurance of our own, and it's pretty good insurance as well. So we're fighting for that contract and possibility of a strike if they don't. So yes, that's why I'm on point, and I'm here to represent them as well as the party.
Help us around.
I heard
You got the red book.
I heard what the other half was saying about how you traveled with the Bible everywhere you went. It's like as bad as revolutionary. This is our Bible right here. We're Mars, you using it? We're ours. When you read the book, it explains to you how you're supposed to treat the people, how you're supposed to move in the society, the community. And it also tells you about relationships, the relationships that we have all learned to forge in society. Yo, that's my comrade, man. You see, I come to bring you the food. But whenever Pastor Q called me, I'm coming. I mean, and he's my friend since I was in middle school. I mean, but our relationship is not stronger than what we have built. I mean, so whenever you need me, whenever you call me, I know I'm pulling up, man. I mean, we're going to do this a lot. We're going to do it for a while. You want to come, baby? Me and my birthday.
You want to take it back? Don't need them to get any more.
Like, over here throwing my car, taking my car now. Now I gotta go pick up something to get my car back. After he held me, and then the boss just said they really gave me my car, but because they mad at me, they gotta take it now. That is not law. And you ask me why do I feel the way I feel about you? Because of what I just said to you. No, because the way your behavior, your actions, they're about to take my car. And he held me, and the other dude makes me, and he's about to get in the car and take my car with him. So he's stealing my property, even though we showed you the law. We showed you the law. But by the time we go to court and all of that, I done paid your money. I done paid for lawyers. I done did all of that. But he's watching them steal our shit, man. He watched them steal it. Like we don't know the law. We know the law. He steal this whole time for the down. So I got to talk because I don't want it to be like this. All power to the.
I feel much better because appreciate me.
Patients with the new African Black Panther Party. Today we just finished helping one of the residents that got inspired.
Yes, I appreciate it a million times. Because I was going crazy. I didn't know what to do, but trust and believe. Thank you. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate the program. I feel much better because
Get it.
they always giving out to the hood.
Who always giving out to the hood? All power to the people. All power to the people. All power to the people. Word up. Hey, yo, free food, free food.
There's no kind of communication. You know what I mean? Yeah, I'm here, bro. You swear he told somebody you go to work at 6. If you don't have the communication with, and no one got a communication with them, you know, if they don't, they're watching your place. You doing the same nothing. But I think that these neighborhoods got to be showing some love. Exactly, because that's what we like to love, man. Because a lot of our program, we usually kind of do like high risk areas, you know, like projects, whatever. So, you know, I'm in show with that element, I would say. So I usually go out there the day before we do our program, and I'll link up with the ones that's hanging out there. So when we come back and clean the block up, and we're out there with brooms and dustpans and garbage cans, the neighbors, we don't give them no forewarning, so we pop out when they act like, you know, say, who are y'all? We say we are the open program, we African Black Panther Party.
Greetings, comrades. Welcome to All Power to the People podcast. I'm Grown Folks Talking.
All power to the people. I'm Chairman Africa, and I'm going to be your host today. Hey, so what do we do here? If this is your first time here, this is where we come to find those that are interested in changing the conditions in our community. And then we come together and we find out ways to do that. That's our only purpose here. That's the only reason why we come here every Sunday, to have a conversation, whoever we can reach and get to come to this space. We can't go on like this forever. Yo, everything is becoming more expensive. Because, like, look, we are Panthers. We are Panthers. And we are not here to tell the people what to do, or tell them what they need to do to benefit us. Yo, all we can do as Panthers is go and find out what the conditions in the community are that are afflicting the people, and then we try to find solutions on how to solve that. Yo, rent is too high. It doesn't matter who you vote for, what politician you vote for, your rent is not coming down. That's not my opinion. That's what the data says. Our schools are the worst. They're getting worse generation by generation. They're getting worse and worse and worse. It doesn't matter what politician you put in. None of that is going to change. These are the things that are afflicting the people in the community. Yo, every morning you should see all the parents that are lined up to take their children to school, thinking that they're doing this so their children will have a better future. But generation after generation, those schools continue to fail the people in that community. What do you do? What are the options? When in this space, when we come here, we go back in time and we listen to luminaries, we listen to revolutionaries, and we try to take from their lessons things we can use to be able to change our reality. That's the only thing we do here. Nobody's here to try to get money from you, do whatever, subs, all kind of stuff. Yo, the first step is getting you to understand we have a problem, and then we come together and figure out how we solve that problem. So this has nothing to do about money. It's not about pettiness, about trying to talk about people. This has nothing to do with any of that. The only reason we're here is to change the material conditions that we are surrounded by. That's it. We've been reading the Philadelphia Negro. We've been going through the Philadelphia Negro now for a couple of weeks, couple of months, because we read like today. Today we're going to read. This is the biggest, I think, the longest time we've gone reading one of these is going to be 20 minutes. The General Secretary already read it. She put it in audio form, so all we got to do is listen to it. I need everybody that's here to listen to it and take notes. I may stop it after like 5 minutes to say something, but the information that Du Bois is giving you, we traveling all the way back to 1896. Imagine if you could sit here and you could talk to anybody in history about the stuff that's going on right now in our communities and talk to them how to solve it. The smartest people that we've ever produced, you could sit down and have conversations with them. That's why they wrote them books. That's why they left that legacy, that history for you to go back and go study it. Most of us in our communities, we don't have institutional memory. I mean, not most of us, damn near all of us. We have no institutional memory because we have no institutions to teach these things. But we're about to go back to 1896, and we're about to listen to Du Bois. This is, I think, chapter 15, section 46, social classes and what I think that says amusement. Yeah, social classes and amusements. Because as Panthers, we believe our struggle is a class one. We follow the teachings of Fred Hampton. It's a class struggle, goddammit. That's what Fred Hampton said. Look, I'm dropping stuff all over the place. Hold up. My thing is paused. But Fred Hampton said it's a class struggle, goddammit. And we're going to prove that. We're going to prove that because we're going to go back and let our luminaries say it for themselves. Because Fred Hampton, I'm sure Fred Hampton read all of this. I'm sure Fred Hampton read Du Bois. Because we're not only going back to speak to Du Bois, but we're going to go back to the 40s, 50s and speak to, what's his name, Fanon. And listen to what Fanon has to say about the issue. Then we're going to come all the way back to here, to present time, and talk and see how what they were talking about applies to what we're dealing with today. And believe me, it does. Because history repeats itself. I mean, it does. It has no choice but to repeat itself. But I'm about to start playing the Philadelphia Negro. I cannot stress this enough. If you took the time out of your day to come here, to come be with us, I need you to take notes. That's how important it is. And you got to train your ear to listen to what he's telling you. This is serious business. You're not going to be in any space like this for the rest of the week, the month, anything, where you're going to be able to get this wealth of knowledge, this level of information. And we're only doing 20 minutes of the book. I'm only doing 20 minutes. Our 2026 brain can handle these things. Go ahead, grown folk. You got your hand up. Whoever grown folk is.
That's me. That's me, General Secretary. I'm going to fix my name. But when you take notes, also think of questions you may have or commentary you may have. Because, again, like the chairman said, this is an interaction, engaging. We're not here just to lecture to you. So please come with feedback and questions as well. Thank you.
Yes, and the feedback is a must. I'm not here to just preach. I'm just the host. Like, I'm trying to lead the conversation, like to put it out there. And if you did a show where you having the same conversation, invite me. I'm coming on there so we could continue the conversation. And I implore everybody to try to get the word out. But be that as it may, I mean, I'm about to play the video. And look, take down the notes. And if you're just coming in, we're about to play chapter 15 of the Philadelphia Negro. For the last couple of months, we've been listening to bits and pieces of it. I mean, every week. I mean, I think we got it on YouTube. You can go on YouTube and find all the previous shows. But we're about to listen to the Philadelphia Negro and then see what we can take from there to be able to help us in what we're dealing with in our current reality.
The Philadelphia Negro, Chapter 15, Section 46.
Taking my notes.
Social classes and amusements. Notwithstanding the large influence of the physical environment of home and ward, nevertheless, there is a far mightier influence to mold and make the citizen, that is, the social atmosphere which surrounds him. First, his daily companionship, the thoughts and whims of his class, then his recreations and amusements. Finally, the surrounding world of American civilization. which the Negro meets especially in his economic life. Let us take up here the subject of social classes and amusements among Negroes, reserving for the next chapter a study of the contact of the whites and blacks. There is always a strong tendency on the part of the community to consider the Negroes as composing one practically.
I gotta pause it there. Where we at? Where's this right here? I'm at, it's only it's only 54 seconds in. I gotta pause it already. I'm writing it down so I remember when I come back. 54 seconds. Hey, look, what was he talking about just now? He's talking about everything around us that by and large control and dictate who we are. I'm going to bring it back again. It's only 54 seconds. I know we got goldfish on, brains now. We can't pay attention for that long, but it's 54 seconds. Is that important that I have to bring it back? I want you to listen to what he's saying. Because what's his name said the same thing. Frantz Fanon said the same thing. Frantz Fanon, if you don't know who Frantz Fanon is, Google him after we're done. But for all revolutionaries, he's like, his books are like the Bible for revolutionaries. So I'm about to bring this back again. And listen to what Fanon said just now.
Social classes and amusement. The Philadelphia Negro, Chapter 15, Section 46. Social classes and amusements. Notwithstanding the large influence of the physical environment of home and ward, nevertheless, there is a far mightier influence to mold and make the citizen.
This to mold and make the citizens. Like you think you're free. We all believe you're free. Everybody think they're free. Everybody think the decision that they make is of their own free will, that they're making these decisions. They do not understand there's an entire social structure put in place to control how you think, how you talk, the language you speak in, the things that you love, what you think beauty is. Everything is a social construct. And Du Bois is a sociologist, and he's telling you, right here in the beginning of chapter 15, he's telling you, I'm going to bring it back because you need to hear it. He's telling you everything around you is a social construct. This was in the 1800s.
Social classes and amusements. Notwithstanding the large influence of the physical environment of home and ward, nevertheless, there is a far mightier influence to mold and make the citizen. That is, the social atmosphere which surrounds him. First, you
know what? I'm going to pause it there. 22 seconds. I'm going to pause it there. Nah, that's good. I'm going to pause it there because I'm going to take you. Let's go talk to Fanon and listen to what Fanon said is that he said, Du Bois said there's a social atmosphere, whatever, that by and large control who we are, dictate who we are. Now listen to Fanon tell you who does that, how they do that.
In capitalist societies, the educational system, whether lay or clerical, the structure of moral reflexes handed down from father to son, the exemplary honesty of workers who are given a medal after 50 years of good and loyal service, and the affection which springs from harmonious relations and good behavior, all these aesthetic expressions of respect for the established order serve to create around the exploited person an atmosphere of submission and of inhibition.
From your schools, everything around you, sports, entertainment, all these things around you are put there to get you to be obedient by the people that are in power. This is not what Africa's saying. This is not what I'll say. The only reason I know this is because I read these works. This is not my opinion. I'm trying to persuade you to think the way I think. I'm telling you what Frantz Fanon said, what Du Bois said. So Du Bois is telling you there's an atmosphere around you that's been created around us to basically control our realities. And Fanon is telling you it's done through the schools, through the education system, through the arts, through all of these things, to by and large mold how you think. And you are not free. So we fast forward to now. What are these structures? The school, the media, all the different institutions that are put in place to by and large control how we think. I'm gonna go back to Du Bois. Let Du Bois finish out. I'm gonna try not to stop it again. I'm gonna try to let it go. But every couple of seconds, the things that they shit they be spitting, it's real. It's real. I mean, this is better. Yo, when I'm driving in the car, this is what I listen to. I don't listen to music anymore. There's like the music that they're playing, according to people like Du Bois, according to people like what's his name? He's locked up right now. Mumia. The well has been poisoned. All this information we getting is filtered down to us through corporations. So what's the point? I'd rather go straight to the source and listen to Du Bois. Even though I have my issues with Du Bois, I go listen to these people. I have my issues with almost all of them.
Of the people.
My bad, y'all. My bad. I'm bugging.
Oh, that was the video I took. Oops. Oh, shit.
No, you missed it. You wasn't here for that part. That was the intro to what we doing. You came late, bruh. Yo, we start 12 o'clock every Sunday. You coming up here late. You missed the whole intro, B. You heard me?
Hey,
I won't play it back, but people here. Yeah, you all in the intro, man.
The surrounding world of American civilization, which the Negro meets especially in his economic life. Let us take up here the subject of social classes and amusements among Negroes.
Now remember, I told you Fred Hampton said our struggle is a class struggle. Fred Hampton didn't say race. We're not negating race. Nobody's saying race does not play a factor. But he's saying in his epoch, when he was alive, he's saying the class struggle. It has now come to the class struggle. It is no longer about racism. That's what Fred Hampton said. And Du Bois is now breaking down the race by class. That's what this chapter is. Du Bois is breaking it down by class. And he's like, that's where he's going right now.
Reserving for the next chapter is study of the contact of the whites and blacks. There is always a strong tendency on the part of the community to consider the Negroes as composing one practically homogeneous mass. This view has, of course, a certain justification. The people of Negro descent in this land have had a common history, suffer today common disabilities, and attribute to one general set of social problems. And yet, if the foregoing statistics have emphasized any one fact, it is that wide variations in antecedents, wealth, intelligence, and general efficiency have already been differentiated within this group. These differences are not, to be sure, so great or so patent as those among the whites of today, and yet they undoubtedly equal the difference among the masses of the people in certain sections of the land.
Yeah, but look, so what is he saying? Right here in the beginning, there's always a strong tendency on the part of the community to consider the Negroes as composing one practically homogeneous mass, like we are the same. When they say this is a black business, black culture, black this, there's a tendency. It's not really a tendency. It's a social construct. We've been all socially constructed to think that way. So it's really not a tendency. We ain't just come up with it on our own. Like, no. It is designed that way. Like, so when they say like a black business, some rich person gets a business, some middle class person gets a business, and because they want us to support them to be in the class that they are, they call it a black business. They don't hire black people and pay them enough to survive and pay them what they're supposed to earn. That's not what they do. They don't by and large hire black people. They do just like the white corporations, but they call their businesses black business because they believe we have a tendency to think like we cool because we all black, we all Spanish, we all this, we all that, we all Asian, we all whatever they are. They try to use that to try to get the people, the mass of the people, to support their stuff. But Du Bois is telling you, nah, within that we have issues. We have different classes, differentiated by wealth, intelligence, and what else? General efficiency, whatever. But he's telling you like there are different things in the society. I mean, in the in what I guess race, lack of a better term. There's different classes within the race. In order they're divided, they're no more divided in other races because they have the same issue in other races. I mean, he say this it's not different, but let me keep going.
50 or 100 years ago. And there is no surer way of misunderstanding the Negro or being misunderstood by him than by ignoring manifest differences of condition of power in the 40,000 black people of Philadelphia. And yet, well-meaning people continually do this. They regale the thugs and whoremongers and gamblers of 7th and Lamar Streets with congratulations on what the Negroes have done in a quarter century, and pity for their disabilities, and they scold the caterers of Addison Street for the pickpockets and paupers of the race. A judge of the city courts, who for years has daily met a throng of lazy and debased Negro criminals, comes from the bench to talk to the Negroes about their criminals. He warns them first of all to leave the slums and either forgets or does not know that the fathers of the audience he is speaking to left the slums when he was a boy, and that the people before him are as distinctly differentiated from the criminals he has met as honest laborers anywhere differ from thieves. Nothing more exasperates the better class of Negroes than this tendency to ignore utterly their existence. The law-abiding, hard-working inhabitants of the 30th Ward are aroused to righteous indignation when they see that the word Negro carries most Philadelphia's minds to the alleys of the 5th Ward or the police courts. There's so much misunderstanding, or rather forgetfulness and carelessness on this point is common. Let us endeavor to try and fix with some definitiveness the different social classes which are clearly enough defined among Negroes to deserve attention. Where the statistics of the families of the 7th Ward were gathered, each family was put in one of 4 grades as follows. Grade 1, families of undoubted respectability earning sufficient income to live well, not engaged in menial service of any kind, the wife engaged in no occupation save that of the housewife, except in a few cases where she had special employments at home. The children not compelled to be breadwinners, but found in school, the family living in a well-kept home. Grade 2, the respectable working class, in comfortable circumstances, with a good home and having steady remunerative work. The younger children in school. Grade 3, the poor, persons not earning enough to keep them at all times above want, honest although not always energetic or thrifty, and with no touch of gross immorality or crime, including the very poor and the poor. Grade 4, the lowest class of criminals, prostitutes, and loafers, the submerged 10th. Thus we have in these 4 grades the criminals, the poor, the laborers, and the well-to-do. The last class represents the ordinary middle-class folk of most modern countries and contains the germs of other social classes which the Negro has not yet clearly differentiated. Let us begin first with the 4th class. The criminals and gamblers are to be found at such centers as 7th and Lamar Streets, 7th and Lamar, 12th and Cater, 18th and O'Dane, etc. Many people have failed to know.
The class he's talking about right now, he's talking about the worst class. He's gonna go into it. I don't want to steal his thunder, but he's gonna go into it. In Marxism, they call this the lumpen proletariat, the bottom of the bottom. And like in Karl Marx, these people, they didn't think these people could be organized. You could organize these people to bring about revolution. We don't believe that. As Panthers, we believe those people, that's what we really fight for. The people that he's about to talk about, the people that Du Bois saw as a scourge. He saw these people as immigrants. Du Bois, the person that's talking, he saw these people as lazy. He didn't see that the system, that the social construct around them created their reality, made their reality what it was, that they didn't control their reality from birth. Because remember, this is the 1890s that Du Bois is writing this. How long ago was slavery? We're going to go into all of this. How long ago was slavery? How long ago have they been, quote unquote, free for them to be able to have the necessary tools to be able to achieve in this world, to be able to defeat imperialism, to defeat white supremacy, to defeat all these structural things around them, to stop them from even knowing how to read. Just think about that for a minute. These are the people that Du Bois talk about as if they're nobody. And the people, the wealthy classes, look at these people as if they're the problem. But we're going to talk about it today.
The significant change which has come over these slums in recent years. The squalor and misery and dumb suffering of 1840 has passed, and in its place have come more baffling and sinister phenomena. Shrewd laziness, shameless lewdness, cunning crime. The loafers who line the curbs.
Yeah, he's describing them. I mean, like this, how he's describing those people. These people that were victims of slavery. Like we talking about 18. We're not talking about 2026 where people are still victims from slavery. We talking about 1890, 96, and this how he's talking about them as if they created their reality that they're living in.
In these places are no fools, but sharp, wily men who often outwit both the police department and the Department of Charity. Their nucleus consists of the class of professional criminals who do not work, figure in the rogues galleries of half a dozen cities, and migrate here and there. About these are a set of gamblers and sharpers who seldom were caught in serious crime, but who nevertheless live from its proceeds and aid and abet it. The headquarters of all these are usually the political clubs and pool rooms. They stand ready to entrap the unwary and tempt the weak. Their organization, tacit or recognized, is very effective, and no one can long watch their actions without saying that they keep in close touch with the authorities in some way. Affairs will be gliding on lazily some summer afternoon at the corner of 7th and Lombard Streets. A few loafers on the corners, a prostitute here and there, and a Jew and Italian plying their trades. Suddenly there is an oath, a sharp altercation, a blow, then a hurried rush of feet. The silent door of a neighboring club closes, and when a policeman arrives, only the victim lies bleeding on the sidewalk. Or at midnight, the drowsy quiet will be suddenly broken by the cries and quarreling of a half-drunken gambling table. Then comes the sharp, quick crack of pistol shots, a scurrying in the darkness, and only the wounded man lies awaiting the patrol wagon. If the matter turns out seriously, the police know where in Minister Street and Middle Alley to look for the aggressor. Often they find him, but sometimes not. The size of the more desperate class of criminals and their shrewd abettors is, of course, comparatively small, but it is large enough to characterize the slum district. Around this central body lies a large crowd of satellites and feeders, young idlers attracted by excitement, shiftless and lazy ne'er-do-wells, who have sunk from better things, and a rough crowd of pleasure seekers and libertines. These are the fellows who figure in the police courts for larceny and fighting, and drift thus into graver crime or shrewder dissoluteness. They are usually far more ignorant than their leaders and rapidly die out from disease and excess. Proper measures for rescue and reform might save many of this class. Usually they are not native of the city, but immigrants who have wandered from the small towns of the South to Richmond and Washington, and thence to Philadelphia. Their environment in the city makes it easier for them to live by crime or the results of crime than by work. And being without ambition, and perhaps having lost ambition and grown bitter with the world, they drift with the stream.
Hey, yo, like I need you to understand. And yo, when I'm listening to this, like this makes me so upset. Yo, I'm a sociologist by trade. There you go, mama. Y'all could be mad again. I said it again. And like Du Bois is a sociologist, and he's talking about these are the lowest of the lowest in society. And he should know as a sociologist, their condition is not of their own making. But this is how he talk about them. That these people are lazy. That all they want to do is participate in crime, even though he understands there's a system in place that there's no work for these people. And did you notice what he called them? Immigrants. He called them immigrants because they were fleeing from the South, running up to the North, going to these places. So like earlier when it started out, he was telling you Du Bois was telling you that all black people are not don't basically think the same. They don't see the world the same. We're divided. We like based on our education, our wealth, all these different things. He's talking about the class structure within black people. And just now when he's talking about the least of these, the worst that we have in our community, the poorest people in our community, listen to what he's saying. Like they're doing that because they want to do it, because they're lazy, they're shiftless. This is how Du Bois, this is how this class thing has always worked. This is how they've always looked at the people at the bottom. Even though he understands there's a system, there's a construct in place that have these people living the way they're living. This is how he talk about them. When I say I got my issues with Du Bois, that's what I'm talking about. As Panthers, those are the people we fight for because we don't believe they're lazy. We don't believe the mothers that are taking their children to these horrible schools hate their children or don't love their children. That's not what we see. When we get up every day to work in our community, we don't see these people as being lazy. We don't see the people standing outside in the corner as being lazy. We see the schools that didn't educate them, that make sure they didn't educate them. We see corporations that won't pay them enough for them to even survive. What's the point of going to work, busting your behind, working 60 hours a week, and you can't even afford rent? It makes absolutely no sense. Anybody that rather do that than be outside and find another way to survive is crazy. You cannot afford rent in Newark, New Jersey if you have these jobs making $18, $16, $17, even $20, $22 an hour. You cannot afford nothing in Newark, New Jersey. Nowhere around here. And I see these people out there, my friends, people I grew up with, their children that went to these schools, that you don't even know how to read when you graduate high school. The children are reading, doing math at a 5 and 6% proficiency. Whose fault is that? Is it not the people that are in charge of those systems? But you listen to Du Bois. Listen to what Du Bois is telling you. That these people are nothing, that they created their reality. That's what the politicians say now. These are the things they say now. This is how they still see those people. But I'm jumping the gun. Go ahead, Du Bois.
One large element of these slums, a class we have barely mentioned, are the prostitutes. It is difficult to get at any satisfactory...
Before you even go on with the prostitutes, I'm going to say it like this, and if you don't like it, you don't like it, you mad, I don't care. If you choose a mate because of how much money they make, you a whore. You're a prostitute. I respect women that are on the street trying to find a way to survive. I respect them way more than anybody that finds a mate. You're out here in these streets, in this world. You're trying to find somebody to have children with, spend the rest of your life with, depending on how much money they make. That's your criteria. And then you find that person that makes all that money, and the reason why they make all that money is they got to sell their soul. Because that's the world we living in. And how you think that relationship is going to turn out? They know you only with them because they got money. So they treat you like a whore. And then you expect people to be looking at you with sympathy. That's what you chose. I have way more respect for women that are on the streets, wherever working out here, trying to use what they got to try to survive this society that they have no control over, than somebody that supports this society, this system. And they themselves are prostitutes. They prostitute themselves to their mates, to their owners, to the corporations, to their jobs. They sell their souls. And then they got the nerve to look down on the stripper. How dare you? And that's how I feel about people like Du Bois. He grew up with a silver spoon in his mouth. He had the ability to go all around the world, go to Germany in the 1800s, travel to Germany. I can't even go to Philadelphia. I can't catch a ticket from Newark to Philadelphia. It's too expensive. Imagine trying to go to California. I can't even fly to Cali right now. It's expensive. But bruh, in the 1800s, went to school in Germany. And this is who wrote this book. And he wrote it from a class perspective. But that don't mean I still can see things in there that I can pick out. Like even this conversation we have in here on what's a prostitute and what's not a prostitute. I mean, but go ahead, tell them more, Du Bois.
Data concerning such a class, but an attempt has been made. There were in 1896 53 Negro women in the 7th Ward known on pretty satisfactory evidence to be supported wholly or largely by the proceeds of prostitution.
When he said that, the first thing that came to my mind, he gonna say it in a second. When he said that, he said 53. I'm like, man, you stupid. It's way more than 53 people out there. It's way more than 53 women. I mean, I'm like, man, they got to be quadruple that. Cause like people are poor. Yo, prostitution is the oldest trade. It's been here forever. You 53, 40,000. Well, I think it was 40,000 black people in Philly at that time, right there. 40,000. And you telling me out of that 40,000 black people, only 53 were prostitutes? Okay, sure.
And it is probable that this is not half the real number. These 53 were of the following ages: 14 to 19.
Look at that. That's what he got. He went. This is the data that he collected. Yo, he said, what you call it? 2 of them were 14 to 19 years old, prostitutes. 14 years old. 14 years old. I need you to think about that for a second. Remember, this is what he was able to document. He didn't really have the ability to go into the community. Cause like, look at him. Imagine him walking around Philadelphia back there with a top hat on, a white top hat, a white suit on, but ain't nobody talking to you. This is what he was able to get. Even though he didn't do this by himself, he had people that was helping him. But the information he was able to get, he said 14 to 19. I guarantee you the number is way more than that. Why am I saying that? Because nothing we're dealing with now, the way they treat our children, treat our daughters, treat our kids, steal them, do whatever they're doing, whatever they do with their trafficking stuff. None of this stuff is new. It's been here. It's always been here. They've always been doing this. And who is they? Those who control the society, the imperialists, the capitalists, the people who money move things around here. They've always been doing this with the help of sellouts in our community.
2, 20 to 24, 11, 25 to 29, 9, 30 to 39, 17, 40 to 49, 3, 50 and over, 2, unknown, 9. 7 of these women had small children with them and had probably been betrayed and had then turned to this sort of life. There were 14 recognized Baldy houses in the ward. 10 of them were private dwellings where prostitutes lived and were not especially fitted up, although male visitors frequented them. 4 of the houses were regularly fitted.
Go ahead, General Secretary.
No, I just wanted to comment because he says that the women, 7 of the women had children, and they've probably been betrayed, like their husband left them or cheated on them or what. But like, you're a sociologist. How about they just don't have money and they need to work? How you just go to because their husband or whoever left them? Like maybe they working too, or maybe they had to go out to another state to find work and stuff. But he just automatically goes because these women have children and they're prostituting themselves. There's no other social factor but the fact that their men probably betrayed them.
Now, all power to the people. Hey, yo, I peeped that too when he said that. I mean, that gender divide. That it's just a whole bunch that come with that. I mean, I peeped that too when he said it. I let that thing ride though. Thank you for pointing it out. Hey, look, and like we having a conversation here. We're all reading this. We're seeing this together. If you see something you want to talk about, yo, if you put your hand up, I don't see you. Yo, just cut in. We having a conversation. This is not me trying to preach to you. Like I'm telling you what I'm seeing from what we read in here. If you see something different, please chime in.
Fitted up with elaborate furniture, and in 1 or 2 cases had young and beautiful girls on exhibition. All of these latter were 7 or 8 room houses for which $26 to $30 a month was paid. They are pretty well known resorts, but are not.
See how much they were paying? $26 to $30 a month. We're paying like $2,500 for rent today. I'm saying from 26 to 30 until you get to today, where we at now. Yo, there's never been a period where rent went the opposite way, went down. It is continuously going up. This is 1896. From 1896 to 2026, it went from $26 to now we at $2,500 for you to be able to afford rent out here. These are the things that I catch, that I peep. You know what I mean? Like we could go out and vote every single election. You're gonna vote. This number is never coming back down to 26. I don't care what you do. And then you could say, like you could be like, nah, we in 2026. Yo, our paychecks don't even match that. Our paychecks ain't growing like that. Our paychecks are not growing at the 26 to 2,500. Like, come on, like you can't play them games with me. No matter who you vote for, how many people you put in office, this doesn't change. It doesn't go the other way. It goes continuously upwards towards the people that control everything, the people that have power, the corporations that rule our lives.
Served. In the slums of the lowest class of streetwalkers abound and ply their trade among Negroes, Italians, and Americans. One can see men following them into alleys in broad daylight. They usually have male associates whom they support and who join them in badger thieving. Most of them are grown women, though a few cases of girls under 16 have been seen on the street. This fairly characterizes the lowest class of Negroes. According to the inquiry in the 7th Ward, at least 138 families were estimated as belonging to this class out of 2,395 reported, or 5.8%. This would include between 500 and 600 individuals. Perhaps this number reached 1,000 if the facts were known, but the evidence at hand furnishes only the number stated. In the whole city, the number may reach 3,000, although there is little data for an estimate.
All right, so from what I'm understanding, he's saying out of 40,000 people, black people, in Philadelphia at that time, only about 3,000 of them fall in this class right here, the lowest of the lowest. You see, but like now that he about to go to the next class, and so if these are the class, the people that's on the streets, the prostitutes, the next class he's gonna go into is like, let me see, if you're in the school, I guess it would be like the janitors. It'll be like the people that work at like all these stores, like you barely making enough to survive. This is the $17, $18, $20 people. I think that's who he's about to go into now. But he's gonna say the lowest of these people in this class belong to the class he just talked about. So is this class really 3,000 or is it more than that? But to me, in the society I'm living in now, I'm gonna leave it there. I ain't gonna. That's a whole.
We don't. We back then we weren't able to get a census, so we won't really know. Like
you said, back then we're not able to get census, so like we can't really tell.
Yeah.
I think they had census back then, but you know what? It probably didn't go into what the information we would want to know to be able to have that data. Yeah, I agree with you.
The next class are the poor and unfortunate and the casual laborers. Most of these are of the class of Negroes who, in a contact with the life of a great city, have failed to find an assured place.
They have failed to find an assured place. The whole reason why we have a government, why you have an entire system, why people pay into the system, is to be able to ensure that their lives is not miserable, that they have jobs to be able to survive. Because that's the whole point of this capitalism and all of this. It's supposed to maintain cohesion within the citizenry. You're not supposed to be able not to find a job. But under capitalism, everybody can have a job. Everybody can be rich and under capitalism. Everybody can be prosperous. You see the contradictions? But look who he's blaming it on. He's blaming it on those people. The next class are the poor and unfortunate and the casual laborers. Casual. There's nothing casual about these jobs out here. Most of these are the class of Negroes who in the contact with the life of a great city had failed to find in a short place. What he said in the contact, people flee to come over here because you got done away with the farming and all of that. The society was transforming. People didn't just find their way to Philly. People didn't just come up here because it was cool. They were pushed out of the South. So everything that you read, and remember, you got to read it and understand it's coming from a class perspective. Which class is coming from, and who is he writing for? He ain't Du Bois didn't sit down in his house like, man, damn that. Let me find out what the Negro life is like. I'm about to go tell the world what the Negro life. Nigga, they paid him. They paid him. The what? Who were they? The Quakers. The Quakers called him down and they paid him for him to come do a study for them. And the study he did was to fit their palate, for them to be able to take it in, absorb it in. And that's why he's writing all of this, instead of telling the truth of what's really going on. And how are we going to ever prosper or ever move or be successful if we don't deal with reality as it is, instead of making up all these fancy words just to lie?
They include immigrants who cannot get steady work, good-natured but unreliable.
Once again, immigrant, he's talking about his black people. It's slaves coming from down south. What you want to call them? ADOs? Huh? That's what you want to call them, however they call them. What's the FBA, Foundation Need Black Americans or something like, whatever. That's what he's talking about. He's calling them immigrants. Du Bois is calling other black people immigrants. Y'all think this stuff that's going on now is new. They've always been coming like this. We in the class struggle. They've always seen us and talked about us like this.
And shiftless persons who cannot keep work.
Go ahead. You want to say something?
Yeah, I was going to say, basically we were forced across the ocean against our will, so we are technically forced immigrants, right, from Africa, right? We are.
Now, I could dig it.
I'm a forced immigrant. Well, my family's ancestors are forced immigrants. I don't hail from this land. I was brought over against my will on chains, barely able to eat, barely able to drink water. I didn't even speak English. I didn't even believe in Christianity back then. Like, well, my ancestors, right? Like all of us, most of us, right? We had our own faiths. We were forced on all doctrines of America, right? Against our will.
All power to the people. No, now you're right. Hey, James, how old are you, James?
I just turned 30, man.
All power to the people. Now, James, most people don't even understand that. You're going to meet people that are going to tell you that they're Indian, that they're Native American. They want to be everything other than black or other than coming from Africa. So like, you're 100% correct. We were forced here. We were forced to come here. So it's like he can't even call those people, like, you definitely right. He can't even call those people immigrants because they were forced here. It ain't like they just got up and said, you know what, we want to relocate. We want to relocate to the plantation. Ain't nobody say that.
Those who have suffered accident and misfortune, the maimed and defective classes, and the sick, many widows and orphans and deserted wives. All these form a large class and are here considered. It is, of course, very difficult to separate the lowest of this class from the one below, and probably many are included here who, if the truth were known, ought to be classed lower. In most cases, however, they have been given the benefit of the doubt. The lowest ones of this class usually live in the slums and back streets and next door, or in the same house often with criminals and nude women.
So if you want to bring that to today, let's say he's talking about North. The people that work in those jobs, that, like, remember he told you there were 4 classes that we're looking at. He just talked about the worst class. Now he's in the 3rd class, and these people are basically people that work the jobs like, let's say Amazon, let's say janitors, let's say when you go to the store, when you go to McDonald's, when you go all these places, these people, when you go to Wendy's, when you go all these places, these people that work at these jobs, these are the people he's talking about now. Them and people beneath them. That's what he's talking about.
Ignorant and easily influenced, they readily go with the tide, and now rise to industry and decency, now fall to crime. Others of this class get on fairly well in good times, but never get far.
They fall to crime. It's not that McDonald's won't pay them enough for them to be able to survive. It's not that the schools around them failed to teach their children while they're working 2-3 jobs to be able to pay rent and put food on the table. They're saying here that these people, like, they fall to crime. They just, because everybody just wants to fall to crime. It has nothing to do with the social structure around them.
They are the ones who earliest feel the weight of hard times in their latest blight.
Yeah, they're the ones that feel the hard times, like the earliest. So, like, right now, gas is going crazy. In the last 2 months, gas is double. The price for food is crazy. And you expect these people to go out to go vote. Even though these people know no matter who you put in office, our lives don't change. These people that are suffering, most of these people are not even political. They're apolitical. That is talking about this class of people. Today, back then, these people politics is nowhere around them. They're no absolute. But I'm saying a large percent, maybe 90-some% of these people don't care about politics right now. You go inside McDonald's somewhere and go ask somebody who they voted for. These people don't care about that stuff, man. They're not worrying about that, and there's a reason why. There's a reason why. Who's going to tell you? For now, I'm about to tell you in a second.
Some correspond to the worthy poor of most charitable organizations, and some fall a little below that class. The children of this class are the feeders of the criminal classes. Often in the same family, one can find respectable and striving parents weighed down by idle, impotent sons and wayward daughters.
Yeah.
So he going in, he said.
Hey, yo, no, but this is the Du Bois that they told us about our whole life. Listen to how this dude is talking about people. Like they're weighed down. It is not white supremacy that's wearing them down. It is not the system created around them that's weighing them down, that their rents are doubling. That when you come home from work after working a long day, somebody put a stick on your door, the landlord that don't even live in your community. They put a stick on your door and they tell you that in 30 days you're going to be kicked out illegally. They do that illegally. So after you done came from working 3 jobs and you barely have any energy or anything to come home and even go to sleep because you're too tired to sleep, you get a stick on your door that's telling you that they're going to take your apartment from you.
Yeah, but what they got to do with calling your son impudent and your daughter wayward? What the hell?
No, but no. And listen, he said the reason for that, the reason why these people fall into poverty or all of that is because their children. It's because their children are wayward, and their wayward daughters and impudent sons. That's the reason why. That's the reason why. That's what Du Bois is saying. But I'm telling you, he's getting paid to write this goofy stuff. I mean, he has to make it palatable for the people that's paying him. So he say crazy stuff like this, because this is crazy. You just came out of slavery. You was there, my boy. You seen it. We in 2026, and you telling me the stuff that weighed these people down was their children being impudent and their daughters being wayward? All right.
This is partly because of poverty, more because of the poor home life. In the 7th Ward, 30.5% of the families, or 728, may be put into this class, including the very poor, the poor, and those who manage just to make ends meet in good times. In the whole city, perhaps 10 to 12,000 Negroes fall in this third social grade.
So, what do you say? What do you say? 10 to what? What numbers he saying? Let me see.
12,000.
Yeah, 10 to 12,000. So the first group, he said was 3,000. So this one, he said, let's go 12. So you put them together, that's 15,000. So out of 40,000 black people, he's saying the poor and the prostitute class, the drug dealer class, all these people put together would be like 15,000 out of the 40,000. I'm still questioning them numbers, my guy. But let's go. Because to me, I think it's worse than that. I think it's way more people in these classes than he's saying. But let's rock on. You see, when I'm reading, this is the stuff. Yo, I'm telling you, your reading can be so beautiful. It's hard to read now here in this world. Out in society, you got so much stuff to do. You can't focus your mind. In prison, when I used to read these things in prison, my mind used to travel. I used to be in all these different places, and I'm walking around seeing all this, because I could imagine how 1896 looked. And I'm thinking in my mind, he talking about his owner, nah, it can't be. Everybody around here, nah, people catching hell. Those numbers not real. So then I got to go find another book to try to see all that. I'm telling you, reading is better than watching a TV show if you can focus your mind to get there.
Above these come the representative Negroes, the mass of the servant class, the porters and waiters, and the best.
So now he's leaving the third. Now he's going to the second the second class of people. And after this class is going to be the wealthy, the aristocrat, the rich people. So right here above these comes the representative Negroes. So like right here, so I guess the politicians is eating now. But I guess you could talk about them too, the politicians, the teachers, your professors, the people in this kind of jobs. That's what we're talking about here.
They are hard-working people, proverbially good-natured, lacking a little in foresight and forehandedness and in push. They are honest and faithful, of fair and improving morals, and beginning to accumulate property. The great draw.
You hear that? These are the people that are good to him. These managerial Negroes. These are the ones that are good to him, to his way of thinking. These are the good people. Look at the good things he said about them. Above these come the representative Negroes, the mass of the servant class, the porters and the waiters, and the best of the laborers. They are hard-working people.
Proverbially.
Yeah, proverbially, I was looking at it. All right, come on, man, go ahead, bro. Proverbially good-natured, lacking in a little foresight. Like they're lacking in a little foresight and in push. That's all they're lacking. That's what the problem is. It is not an entire social construct that's been erected around them to make sure they're the representative of the Negroes. They're the one that administer the lies, the BS. What E. Franklin Frazier called them, man? Something about them being delusional. These are the class of people that he appreciates. The managerial class. That class will be called like the petty bourgeois. That's what this class will be called in our philosophy, in the way of our thinking. According to Mao, we're supposed to try to make alliances with these people. But he tells us, no, like you can't trust them. Because
the butlers and like the upscale restaurants that talk adequate with adequate and respect, we can't trust them.
Not in the class.
Waiters.
Yeah. No, not the waiters. So like now go back if you go back to 1896, the porters, all these people like that. Yo, man, look, let me tell you something, man. It's a whole bunch of people that I see on here that are way smarter than me when it comes to these things right here. When somebody asks questions, if I'm explaining it wrong, you chime in, or if you got a better way to say it, you say it for me. But like back then, the porters, to be a porter would be like what? I mean, like I guess you work like that job. Porters were like on trains. Like you're not getting jobs like that to be able to be on train in the 1890s and stuff, be around white people serving and stuff, unless you got connections, unless they feel comfortable around you. Those jobs were by and large given to like children of slave masters. I mean that knew how to be served the master in the house. Those are the kind of people that got those jobs, and you had to be like mixed to be able to be in those places, like passing. To be able to be in that place because it was racial as hell and Jim Crow was real. So those jobs today, what kind of jobs would that be? They'll be on the level of being like a professor and stuff like that in today's time.
Oh, I get it now. Okay, the time difference. Okay, so today professors, teachers, people like you even you would be right underneath the most important class.
Well, academically, because like I have 3 college degrees, but I don't work for nobody. Let me not say it like that. I don't work for a corporation. My entire life, my entire day, every minute of my time, I work for the people. How do I do that? By maintaining the programs we have in the community. So like, let's say tomorrow's Monday. When I wake up tomorrow at 5:30, 6:30 in the morning, I'm getting ready to go pick up all the children that are in our programs to make sure they get to school on time. When they get out of school, I pick them from school. We go to our after-school program. Then we do the boxing, whatever we do, the sports, and then I take them back home. So like my job, like even though I have these degrees, I could fit in that class, whatever. I guess you would say I have committed class suicide because I am not using those degrees to go get these jobs. I'm using them to work in the community. But be that as it may, I understand what you're saying. But this class right here is the petty bourgeois class that Mao and all, like Mao would tell us, we have to try to build alliances with them. I mean, because they have resources that we don't have, they have knowledge, all this stuff. But he still says, like, yo, be careful of these people because they're loyal to the system. They really care more about the system than you. They're worried about paying their rents and like stuff like that. They ain't worried about you. But anyway.
Go back to this class is like a congenial occupation, especially among the young men and women, and the consequent widespread dissatisfaction and complaints. As a class, these persons are ambitious. The majority can read and write. Many have a common school training, and all are anxious to rise in the world. Their wages are low compared with corresponding classes of white workmen.
And you always hear that in the media when they're saying like, "Yo, black women make this much compared to white this." Like these are the people that are making this arguments because it's really to them it's about making as much money as the other people. They don't care about who's on the bottom.
So there's a glass ceiling. You know, black women have always made less than their male counterparts, and on top of that, there's a glass ceiling on black versus white. You know, because we're always inferior in the eyes of the white man. You know, like if you go into a job interview, I could wear a black suit. White man can wear a black suit. I could be qualified. He could be qualified, and I might get the job, and he might get the job. But you know what's going to happen? I'm gonna get $20,000 less a year than he is.
And no, you're right. And all of that is saying about the social construct that's in place already. So if you're spending your time arguing about how much I'm making less than them, you're not spending your time building the institutions to be able to do away with those institutions or that social structure that's maintaining the system the way it is. That's not the argument they always have. Like even when you go to unions, like when we showed the beginning of the show, we was out there with unions. We trying to meet people in unions, trying to see if we could organize, bring them into our organization and stuff. But those people are there to fight for their unions, their job. They're not there to fight for the people. They're not there to fight for everybody. They're there to fight for their specific union and their specific job. Go ahead, General Secretary. We make them whores too. But go ahead, General Secretary.
Yeah, I wanted to push back on the black women making less than their counterpart. Their counterpart would be black males, right? Until I see some data.
Wait. I think he was talking about white women. That's a counter.
Oh, white, black. Oh, that's white women making. Yeah, I could see that. But when we talk about the black women and black men, I got to see data. I know he was talking about that, but there's a lot of rhetoric when it comes to these gender wars that black women are the most disrespected, most underpaid, most all this stuff. But yet, when you look at the data, most black men are incarcerated. Most black men are unemployed. Most black men are uneducated. Most black men, if they are working, are making less. So, like, I need people to really understand this myth that we have. It's the same myth that black fathers are absentee fathers or deadbeat fathers. Like, all these myths about the black man, we really need to start doing research and start tackling it, because in 2026, it is black women. When we talking about the black family, it is black women that are way ahead of black men. And you can see that just walking outside the door.
Nah, all power to Go ahead.
I agree with Miss Patience. In the general sense, I don't know the numbers because I don't know if there's enough census data on black fathers absentee in their lives, or maybe there is. But for me as an example, I don't have a father. I didn't grow up with a father figure. A lot of people I know didn't really have a father figure, and usually in this society in 2026, black women end up being the powerhouse of the home and the boyfriend girlfriend relationship. They end up having more money. I see that a lot. She's right. I think.
No. All power to the people. No, but like there is data that point to all of this. Most of the homes in our community, like let's say we talking about Newark now, most of the homes are ran by women. Like, there's a reason why, like, the majority of homes are ran by women. They're not ran by men. But that's not where we're going today. That's a whole different kittle and caboodle we going to get into. Let's try to get done with Du Bois because we got a few more things we want to talk about.
Are high, and the field of advancement open to them is very limited. The best expression of life of this group is the Negro Church, where their social life centers and where they discuss their situation and prospects.
Let me go back a little bit. Right there. He said the best expression of life of this group is the Negro Church. No, not there. Their wages are low compared with corresponding classes, right? When their rents are high and the field of advancement open to them is very limited. This was before 1965. We're reading this. This is in 1896. They fought from here all the way to 19, not 18, but 1965. They fought for more access. This class of people. They fought for assimilation. These class of people are the ones that participate in the election system. They're the ones that vote. Like 2.9% of the people voted in Newark for the school board. This is the 2.9 people. Like you wondering, like who are these people that come out? Cause like we wondering how come nobody's voting. But the people that vote is this. These are the 2.9 people that come out and vote. They come out to maintain the society. They fought all the way from 1896 all the way to 1965 for them to be able to get access, assimilate into their society. And now in 2026, we can look backwards now. See, this thing, it takes sincerity. You got to be able to be real with yourself. You could go all the way back and try to do the math and see, like, did we do better? Since we decided to assimilate into the system, has our lives been better? Did we achieve anything? And according to the data, we're doing worse now than back then as a collective, not individual. Because yo, this is so funny, yo. If you live in Jersey, if you live around here, you know Woodbridge is like a suburb. So I was talking to a friend of mine a few days ago, and he went to school in Woodbridge. And there was only about two black kids in his class. He said when he went there, he's in his 40s now. He said when he went there, there were like 2 black kids. And now he's the manager at a large department store. I mean, and he heard somebody else from Woodbridge talking, saying, I'm not sending my kids to that school. And he was still like, damn, I went to that school. So she was like, it's nothing but black people in that school, in that school, whatever. So she's never sending her children there. So I said that to say this. Yo, these people were able to move into the suburbs. These people, they fought all that time so they could be able to do things like move into the suburbs. And now how does those suburbs look? Just like the hood that they left from.
Isn't it scary to move into a suburb as an only black family when back in 1896, majority of black men and women didn't even know how to read and write? We were just coming out of the end of slavery. We're trying to rebuild ourselves as a people, and imagine going into work and somebody telling you.
Yo, but you're looking at it from right now. Like, isn't it scary to move in there? You're looking at it from the perspective of somebody from the lower classes. You're not looking at it from the perspective in the petty bourgeois class. They want to move with white people. They want to be proximity to white people because to them, that's making it. That is what they're fighting for. You see, to you, you're thinking in your mind like me. Why the fuck would I want to go move over there? Excuse my language, y'all. Why would I want to move over there with these people? Like, I have nothing in common with them. There's nothing I'm not beat. I want to be around people where I'm comfortable around. I'm not trying to leave. So even after I went to school, got my degrees. My wife went to school, got her degrees. Our children are about to graduate from the university. We're not trying to leave where we at. I mean, because usually the trend would be we are all packed up. We all living in the suburbs. Because that's what you're supposed to be doing in America. That's what they brainwash us to do, to take that brain drain out of the community and take it somewhere else. But after all our studying, the information that we have, we're like, no, our best place to be is here, where we started from. We're going to try to finish this.
Centers, and where they discuss their situation and prospects. A note of disappointment and discouragement is often heard at these discussions, and their work suffers from a growing lack of interest in it. Most of them are probably best fitted for the work they are doing, but a large percentage deserve better ways to display their talents and better remuneration. The whole class deserves credit for its bold advance in the midst of discouragements and for the distinct moral improvement in their family life during the last quarter century. These persons form 56% or 1,252 of the families of the 7th Ward and include perhaps 25,000 of the Negroes of the city.
So this class right here is 25% of the people in the city. So would you say that today? Are these people 25% of the class in Newark? That's impossible because the median income in Newark is about they say 30-some thousand. But if you asking me, the median income is probably somewhere like 15,000. I mean, I don't even think people are making 30. I think all those numbers are lies. But these people, he's saying about 25 thousand is 25,000 of them. So if you put it together, what was it? 15 before? 15 plus 25 is what? Where we at?
40.
There we
40.
Go.
Yeah.
So what?
40,000, right?
Yeah. So I'm I don't know math that much, but 30, 40. You're right. So it's 40. But the next class ain't that many people in the upper class. That's what I'm trying to say. If it's 40, that means there's nobody else. But the next class, the wealthy, the rich people, the people, the movers and shakers, the one that's really got that bread, it's only a few of them. That's why, yeah. So yeah. But he also said, what he just said, I think he said 1,000, 1,200 of them belong to the lower class. Should be in the lower class. He all over the place. But we're gonna let's keep going.
Live in 5 to 10 room houses and usually have lodgers. The houses are always well furnished with neat parlors and some musical instruments.
I went to go see this dude. He's my mentor. I ain't even gonna front. He's my mentor. I'm not gonna put his name out there. But I went to his house. He would be in this class. And I went. He's the one that told me to go into sociology, into history. So it's really his fault. I learned everything that I learned. I mean, but by and large, I went to his house. Bro had a pool. He had a fireplace. I mean, look, they're telling you. I mean, at that point, I think we were sleeping on the floor. My wife, because every dime, every penny that came into our home, we used for our programs. And I remember when I went to go see him, at that point, we were sleeping on the floor. Our children had beds, they had bed and stuff like that, but we refused to buy a bedroom set because the money we had to fund the programs we were doing. I think this was probably 2015 or 16. So we were sleeping on the floor, and this dude asked me to come help him for his campaign because he was running a campaign. And when I got to his house, dude had a pool in the back, dude had a fireplace, and and I'm just looking at it. I'm thinking in my mind yeah, bro, real comfortable. He ain't trying to fight. He ain't on no revolutionary wave. I'm they living real comfortable up here. But yeah. So every time I come across this part, my mind goes directly to that.
I got a question. Was Malcolm X, MLK, were they living good? I guess, right? For their time period?
Well, Malcolm came straight out of prison and went to the Nation of Islam. So I guess the Nation of Islam provided for Malcolm when he came out. But he was a lumpen. He grew up on the streets according to the books and stuff. He grew up in the streets he wasn't a lumpen proletariat. But his parents, his father was a preacher. Malcolm's father was a preacher and his mother was at home. But that's early on in his life. So I don't think Malcolm's life was petty bourgeois life. And Martin Luther King, I guess Martin Luther King was petty bourgeois. He went to college, graduated from college. His father was the head of the church. I forgot what his mother did. I mean, but usually when you find people that are leaders, people that lead the people, they're often from that petty bourgeois class. They often commit class suicide to go and serve the people. So it's you're not going to learn all this stuff that we learning right here if you're in the bottom class. It's hard to learn that. First of all, you don't even know how to read. you don't even know how to read. You don't even know how to think. Because if you're in that class, you didn't have access to all of those things. I mean, so our revolutionaries rarely ever come from all the way from the bottom. They usually come from that. Even me to have access to all this stuff that I'm talking about, I had to go to college. I had to read. I had to go study. People in our class, never awarded that time and space for them to be able to learn all this thing. And oh, what's his name? I got a video of Franz Fanon where he's going to go into that, and that I'm going to play after this. He's going to speak about that.
Small parties, together with church activities, make up their social intercourse. Their chief trouble is in finding suitable careers for their growing children. Finally, we come to the 277 families.
Then there we go. So after everybody else, and he's saying, I still can't get over that part where he's saying like those petty bourgeois, that's the largest segment of black people. I'm still struggling with that. Because like everything I know, my impulses, everything that is in me is telling me no, that cannot be true. Because you only have a small percentage of the petty bourgeois that you use to control the masses of the people. And according to this, the masses of the people is the petty bourgeois, and that's not making sense. It's contradicting my reflexes.
11.5% of those of the Seventh Ward, and including perhaps 3,000 Negroes in the city, who form the aristocracy of the Negro population in education, wealth, and general social efficiency. In many respects, it is right and proper to judge a people.
No, it's right at 3,000. Altogether, it's 3,000. It's 3,000 of them. That's what it's saying. Negroes in the city who form 3,000.
By its best classes, rather than by its worst classes or middle ranks. The highest class of any group represents its possibilities rather than its exceptions, as is so often assumed in regard to the Negro.
Listen to what he's saying right here. Just listen, like I was talking. Where should I start from? 3,000 Negroes in the city who form the aristocracy of the Negro population in education, wealth, and general social efficiency. So it's 3,000 of them that are the or whatever. In many respects, it is right and proper to judge a people by its best classes rather than by its worst classes or middle ranks. The highest class of any group represents its possibilities rather than its exceptions, as is so often assumed in the regard of the Negro. But I have issues with that. Like, being Jay-Z, being a billionaire, this is not that's not what we should be aspiring to be. That does not speak the best of who we are. So even this phrase right here, and I understand the context in which he's saying it as. He's saying like white people should look at these people as what a black person is. I understand what he's trying to say, that they shouldn't look at the colored people, the poor people in the Seventh Ward or whatever. They shouldn't look at those people, the poor people, as what the class is supposed to be. But by and large, when white people think about black people, they think about the poor people. I understand what he's trying to say, but I still don't agree that these people, these rich people, these billionaires of today, billionaire black people, are the best that we can produce. I believe
shouldn't you base, if you want to base the best of the best on anything, you should look at the best representative of that particular class or race. So like if we as a black people have produced Barack Obama, we produced Jay-Z, we produce, these figures are the best of the best that we produce as a collective. We should base how far we've come on how far they've gone, not how far the lowest of the class have come. That's just common knowledge, right?
And that's what he's saying. But that's what the voice is saying right here. But I'm saying we didn't make Obama. Obama was a product of white supremacy, of capitalism. He's not the best of us. The values that he has, the values that he pushes, are not from us. He pushes white supremacist values, imperialist values, and ideals. We did not produce him. So who is the best of us? Malcolm is the best of us. Fred Hampton is the best of us. Nat Turner is the best of us. Those people are diametrically apart from an Obama kind of Negro. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I doubt Obama would ever do anything that Nat Turner did. Nat Turner was sacrificed himself, you know. Like,
Yeah, I mean, but people like Obama would take a paycheck to make sure guarantee that we all lose our homes in 2008 and nobody's held responsible. He would take a paycheck and let the people that threw people into the streets, that took people homes, he would let them walk. Obama would go bomb African countries for European countries. He would kill presidents. He would bomb everybody. He would create a police state. Obama's not the best of us.
well, what about the Affordable Care Act, man, and giving everybody, you know, health care? What about
what is the affordable health care? The affordable health care is, like right now, I could go to the hospital and they used to be called charity care. Now it's affordable health care. It's all reformist BS that mean nothing. Even today right now, if you don't have enough money and you get sick, you're going to die. The affordable health care is not going to save you. I mean, so all of that is just talking points that they push to try to justify their bank accounts.
The colored people are seldom judged by their best classes, and often the very existence of classes among them is ignored. This is partly due in the North to the anomalous position of those who compose this class. They are not the leaders or the ideal makers of their own group in thought.
Hey, yo, listen to what he's saying right here, because this is very important what he's saying. Like, he said they don't want to even talk about the class issues within black people. And then he said, existence of classes among them is ignored. This is partly due in the North to the anomalous position of those who compose this class. The people that compose these classes. He's saying because of they have let me let him say it.
Work or morals. They teach the masses to a very small extent, mingle with them but little, do not largely hire their labor. Instead, then, of social classes held together by strong ties of mutual interest, we have, in the case of the Negroes, classes who have much to keep them apart and only community of blood and color prejudice to bind them together.
So, let's go back to that. So what does anomalous mean? Let's go back and understand this, because we do need to understand this. Anomalous describes something that deviates from the standard, normal, or expected pattern, often implying it's irregular, peculiar, or inconsistent. So the wealthy amongst us, our aristocracy, is supposed to be the one that leads the people, the masses of the people. And he's saying, like, unlike other aristocracy, they don't. Our rich, the people that have money, they don't care about the masses of the people. They don't lead us. Listen to what he's saying right there. Look.
As in the case of the Negroes, classes who have much to keep them apart,
I'm going to bring it back a little bit.
Strong ties of mutual interest. We have in the case of the Negroes, classes who have much to keep them apart, and only community of blood and color prejudice to bind them together. If the Negroes were by themselves either a strong aristocratic system or a dictatorship would for the present prevail, with, however, democracy thus prematurely thrust upon them, the first impulse of the best, the wisest and richest, is to segregate themselves from the mass.
That's not what our rich people do today. They leave the hood, they leave us, they go separate, they go wherever they go live at. We don't know where they live at. They move away from us, and they be like, if you have money, wouldn't you move away from the people? They're gonna try to rob you. They're gonna try to. They come up with all these excuses not to do what they're not willing to do. They're not willing to sacrifice against massa to do anything. If the Negroes were by themselves either a strong aristocratic system or a dictatorship would for the present prevail. If this rich people decided to go lead their own people, build institutions to take care of their own people, serve their own people, we would have power. But they refuse to do that. With, however, democracy thus prematurely thrust upon them the first impulse of the best, the wisest, and the richest is to segregate themselves from the mass. This action, however, causes more of dislike and jealousy on the part of the masses than usual. We're not there. The masses of the people don't hate them. The masses of the people in the hood don't hate rich people. They want to be like them. We are not at the point where the masses of the people are looking at these rich people and they're like, these people are traitors. So when we make our videos, when we do our political education classes, the way we speak to the police, the way we speak to the politicians, the words that we use, Uncle Tom, sellouts, fraud, traitors, is to emphasize the need for us to get to the stage where we see these people as traitors. Then we can start to move to strategize on how to defeat them. But right now, everybody wants to be like these people. They want to be the next politician. They want to be the next teacher, professor. They're not trying to walk away from these people and build anything new.
Well, look at what society did to our brains, though, Chairman Africa. Like,
no. Hold on, wait. No. We are looking at it. No, we are looking at it. That is the reason why we are in the condition that we are in, because of what slavery, what the system, what the institutions have done to us. That's why people are where they are. Yeah, we understand it. We accept that. And I'm saying because of all of that, people are where they are thinking mentally. Now the next step where we go to is understanding these people for who they are, seeing them for who they are, and then getting angry and demanding a change. It's a step. Everything, you don't just wake up. Like people think, like, one day everybody gonna just wake up one day and be like, yeah, we want a revolution. None of this shit work like that. It is steps. It is stages. From 1896 until 2026, we're not at the point yet. Du Bois is telling you, that these people are who they are, but the people still haven't gotten to the point where they look at these people as the enemy. The masses of the people don't look at these people as the enemy. And that's because of the brainwashing. That's because of the social construct, everything that we've learned from the society that they put us through. That's why we're not there. And we're saying the next level is to get to the state where you see them for who they are. You understand what I'm saying?
I do. You know what? Me and Patience were when we were, praising the Black Panthers. When she said "fuck Epstein," excuse my language.
Yeah.
We were saying that language because that's the truth. Those people on that list are horrible people. You can't. You know what I'm saying?
No. I do understand. Now you're right.
But there's more of a dislike and jealousy on the part of the masses than usual, because those masses look to the whites for ideals and largely for leadership. It is natural, therefore, that even today the mass of Negroes should look upon the worshipers at St. Thomas and Central as feeling themselves above them and should dislike them for it. On the other hand, it is just as natural for the well-educated and well-to-do Negroes to feel themselves far above the criminals and prostitutes of 7th and Lombard Streets, even above the servant girls and porters of the middle class of workers. So far they are justified, but they make their mistake in failing to recognize that, however laudable an ambition to rise may be, the first duty of an upper class is to serve the lowest classes. The aristocracies of all peoples have been slow in learning this, and perhaps the Negro is no slower than the rest. But his peculiar situation demands that in his case, this lesson be learned sooner.
And he's spitting bars. He's saying, all aristocracy, they have to admit, if they want to change their society, their group, they have to admit to themselves that, look, we got to do this. We got to build the institutions to be able to do all of this. He's saying, like everybody else, white, whatever you want to be, wherever you want to call them, they took a long time to come to that realization too. He's like, the black people, black aristocrats are no different. But he's saying to them, it'll be beneficial if you hurry up. This was in 1890. We're in 2026. They're not trying to do that. What Jay-Z just told everybody? Jay-Z just told everybody, like, ain't nothing wrong with capitalism. Like, I've never exploited nobody. Like we have to learn how to deal with reality the way it is, accept reality. These people are not trying to build institutions to liberate nobody. They could care less. In fact, they're going to lie to justify their positions in the society. So we, as Panthers, we say we can't wait for these people. We cannot wait for them to put the schools in our community. We got to do it ourselves. You see, and this is where we differentiate. This is where we separate. We separate from whatever ideology all these people are using. Yo, we're not going to march and beg these people for anything. We're not going to the election booth. Yo, you want a better school? Build your own schools. Let's come together, put our money together, build cooperatives, and build our own schools in our community. Let's accept reality for what it is. Because if we wait for this rich people, for this aristocrats to put the institutions in our community, we're all going to be dead. There won't be any more black people. And that's where we come in at it as an organization. So when somebody say, what's the solution? What do? We must build our own institution. Go ahead.
I have a question for you, Africa. I don't know if you heard of a guy, Dr. Umar.
I did an interview with him, but go ahead.
So Dr. Umar's ideals are very interesting to me. I want to know your take on it. He's very strict on the black and white, how white should be separate from black, and you should always marry black. You should always. His ideals are. What are your thoughts on him? Because I want to know if that's the right way to live your life. Like, do you feel like his way of thinking to just exile all white in this world and just completely live yourself as a black man or a black woman is that the proper way to live?
If Dr. Umar was here and I asked him if that was his philosophy, he would probably say that's not his philosophy. That all white people and all black people should live separately. He would probably say that's not his philosophy. But basically, how you see what he says and what he does is how most people see what he say and what he does. I'm gonna say, what do we believe in? Yo, if you come around us, if you've been around us any amount of time, you will understand we said that our only solution is to build our own institutions. I don't hear Umar saying that. I don't hear Umar saying we must build our own institutions. Yo, everything that we read in from the beginning of what Du Bois was talking about, he was talking about the surrounding social structures around us. He's talking about institutions that control our lives. Like, the reason why I'm speaking English and you speaking English and we can understand each other is because we went to English schools. That's institutions to teach us how to be Englishmen, how to speak with this language, how to have these holidays, how to celebrate this culture of being individuals, of being selfish, of lying, of stealing. That is what you learn when you go to these institutions. If we want to change our reality, we must start to build our own institution as a people. Remember, we're following the teachings of the Panthers. The Panthers are not a nationalist organization where they're saying black, black, black is only the way to go. We're saying the people must take power. Everything is in the people. And depending on where you're staying at, it's not all black people that live there. So you cannot organize that community or the people in that space if you're trying to segue out to go organize black people that don't even want to be organized. So my philosophy, that's my philosophy. I don't even know how Umar would rationalize his philosophy. I mean, but my issue in North is not white people. White people are not the one in my schools. White people are not the one in the council. They're not the one in the mayor. It's not white people. The people administering the suffering in our community. People can't afford a place to stay. Gentrification, police murder, failed schools. The people poison water, everything, poison air. The people administering this suffering is black people. So if I sat up and say like, yo, I'm not messing with no white people, no Spanish people, I'm only messing with black people, I'll be an idiot. I'll have to be blind to the reality outside my doors. And we're not blind to that. I mean, but sooner or later, we're going to get through this Du Bois stuff.
Naturally, the uncertain economic status, even of this picked class, makes it difficult for them to spend much time and energy in social reform. Compared with their fellows, they are rich, but compared with white Americans, they are poor, and they can hardly fulfill their duty as the leaders of the Negroes until they are captains of industry over their people, as well as richer and wiser.
Yeah, that until they're captain of industry over their people. Yo, we're in 2026. They've been captains of industries, and where they're captains of, they've even been president. You see, in 1896, Du Bois couldn't even fathom probably having a black president. But they've been, not we. Them people have been captains of industry. These dumb black people, those rich black people, they've been captains of industries. And what has that done for the masses of the people? Absolutely nothing. In fact, we're worse off now than in the 60s. The masses are worse off.
Today, the professional class among them is compared with other callings rather overrepresented, and all have a struggle to maintain the position they have won. This class is itself an answer to the question of the ability of the Negro to assimilate American culture.
And that's what they try to aim for, to assimilate into American culture. They're not trying to have a revolution. They're not trying to free the masses of the people. They want to assimilate. This is the aristocrats that he's talking about, the wealthy of the wealthies. Whoever in your mind, when you think of the wealthy now, they're trying to assimilate into the American culture. They're not trying to liberate none of us.
It is a class small in numbers and not sharply differentiated from other classes, although sufficiently so to be easily recognized. Its members are not to be met with in the ordinary assemblages of the Negroes, nor in their usual promenading places. They are largely Philadelphia-born, and being descended from the house servant class,
Where they from? Where they from? Remember I told you? Where they from? They're largely Philadelphia-born and being descendants from the house servant class, the house Negroes. That's where they come from, that aristocracy. They didn't come from the bottom. This is where they come from. They come from this class. This Uncle Tom's right here. This, like, when you hear all these people think like, these people, like, they made it on their own, they got it through the dirt, they went, no. Nah, that's not where they come from. They come from Massa House.
And many mulattoes.
Many mulattoes, that means half black, half white, meaning the slave master slept with a slave and produced children. And after they produced those children, they didn't want to send them children into the plantation. So they often had those children working with them in their houses. And these children wanted to be like their fathers, wanted to be like the white people that raped their mothers. So their whole lives was spent trying to assimilate into those people. And these are the people that tell us that if we go vote, if we go march, if we go sing in the streets, we're going to change our condition. We're going to live closer to white people.
Their assemblies, there are evidences of good breeding and taste, so that a foreigner would hardly think of ex-slaves. They are not, to be sure, people of wide culture, and their mental horizon is as limited as that of the first families in the country town. Here and there may be noted, too, some faint trace of careless moral training. On the whole, they strike one as sensible good folks. Their conversation turns on the gossip of similar circles among the Negroes of Washington, Boston, and New York, on questions of the day, and less willingly on the situation of the Negro. Strangers secure entrance to this circle with difficulty and only by introduction. For an ordinary white person, it would be almost impossible to secure introduction, even by a friend. Once in a while, some well-known citizen meets a company of this class, but it is hard for the average white American to lay aside his patronizing way toward the Negro and to talk of aught to him but the Negro question. The lack, therefore, of common ground, even for conversation, makes such meetings rather stiff and not often repeated. 52 of these families keep servants regularly. They live in well-appointed homes, which give evidence of taste and even luxury. Something must be said before leaving the subject of the amusements of the Negroes. Among the fourth grade and the third, gambling, excursions, balls, and cakewalks are the chief amusements. The gambling instinct is widespread, as in all low classes, and together with sexual looseness, is their greatest vice. It is carried on in clubs, in private houses, in pool rooms, and on the street. Public gambling can be found at a dozen different places every night at full tilt in the 7th Ward, and almost any stranger can gain easy access.
Right there, yo, look. Even back then to now, the gambling instinct is widespread, as in all low classes, and together with sexual looseness is their greatest vice. Sexual looseness, Epstein class. That's their greatest vice. That's how the CIA, the FBI is always able to control these people. And this is how that money that they make is what enabled them to get away with the sexual crimes and the things that they do. You could think in your mind now the people that's been going to jail for using power, money to be able to violate women. Think about it. That's what they attack them with. That's what they always come after them with.
At full tilt in the 7th Ward, again, equal gambles against all comers. In private houses in the slums, cards, beer, and prostitutes can always be found. In the public pool rooms, there is some quiet gambling and playing for prizes. For the newcomer to the city, the only open places of amusement are these pool rooms and gambling clubs. Here are crowds of young fellows, and, once started in this company, no one can say where they may not end. The most innocent amusements of this class are the balls and cakewalks, although they are accompanied by much drinking and are attended by white and black prostitutes. The cakewalk is a rhythmic promenade or slow dance, and when well done is pretty and quite innocent. Excursions are frequent in summer and are accompanied often by much fighting and drinking. The mass of the laboring Negroes get their amusement in connection with the churches. There are suppers, fairs, concerts, socials, and the like. Dancing is forbidden by most of the churches, and many of the strictest sort would not think of going to balls or theaters. The youngest that, however, dance, although the parents seldom accompany them, and the hours kept are late, making it often a dissipation. Secret societies and social clubs add to these amusements by balls and suppers, and there are numbers of parties at private houses. This class also patronizes frequent excursions given by churches and Sunday schools and secret societies. They are usually well conducted, but cost a great deal more than is necessary. The money wasted in excursions above what would be necessary for a day's outing and plenty of recreation will foot up many $1,000s in a season. In the upper class alone has the home begun to be the center of recreation and amusement. There are always to be found parties and small receptions and gatherings at the invitations of musical or social clubs. One large ball each year is usually given, which is strictly private. Guests from out of town are given much social attention. Among nearly all classes of Negroes, there is a large unsatisfied demand for amusement. Large numbers of servant girls and young men have flocked to the city, have no homes, and want places to frequent. The churches supply this need partially, but the institution which will supply this want better and add instruction and diversion will save many girls from ruin and boys from crime. There is today little done in places of public amusement to protect colored girls from designing men. Many of the idlers and rascals of the slums play on the affections of silly servant girls and either ruin them or lead them into crime, or more often live on a part of their wages. There are many cases of this latter system to be met in the 7th Ward. It is difficult to measure amusement in any enlightening way. A count of the amusements reported by the Tribune, the chief colored paper, which reports for a select part of the labor class and the upper class, resulted as follows for 9 weeks. Parties at homes in honor of visitors, 16. Parties at homes, 11. Parties at homes with dancing, 10. Balls in halls, 10. Concerts in churches, 7. Church suppers, 7. Weddings, 7. Birthday parties, 7. Lectures and literary entertainments at churches, 6. Card parties, 4. Fairs at churches, 3. Lawn parties and picnics, 3. Total, 91. These, of course, are the larger parties in a whole city and do not include the numerous small church socials and gatherings. The proportions here are largely accidental, but the list is instructive.
All power to the people. All power. So that's what Du Bois had to say. He explained to you about these aristocrats that are supposed to do what they're not going to do. So, like, we already listened to that already. Let me see what you're talking about here.
General de Gaulle speaks of, quote, the yellow...
No, so, like, earlier I was talking to you, James. I was telling you where we needed to be at. Like, right now, where we at, we haven't seen these people for where they, who they are. Frantz Fanon, Wretched of the Earth, like I said, is the Bible for revolutionaries. He's going to tell you where we need to be at.
Multitudes, unquote, and Francois Mauriac of the black, brown, and yellow masses which soon will be unleashed. The native knows all this and laughs to himself every time he spots an allusion to the animal world in the other's words, for he knows that he is not an animal, and it is precisely at the moment he realizes his humanity that he begins to sharpen the weapons with which he will secure its victory.
So he's saying, like, the native, us, the poor people, the mass of the people, we know how they look at us. We know they see us as animals. We know they see us as the worst of the worst. We laugh at them because we know we are not the animals that they see us to be. And then we sharpen our knives when they start to talk about their culture and all of that. That is not where we are at. Yo, our women are still running around wearing wigs, trying to exemplify what beauty is from the European perspective. Yo, you think back to the 70s when they used to have the afros, Black Panther Party, was talking about we're black and beautiful. Black is beautiful. Hey, yo, you go out now. Yo, I can't even watch any show, any movie because of the makeup. Everything how they try to hide the blackness, who they are. The wigs, everywhere you look. Everywhere you look, every black woman got a wig on. Got a wig on. Even in Africa, you watching African movies, African politicians, you see a woman, she'll come up there with a wig on. You go to Europe, you watch, they come up with a wig on, blonde wigs, with the makeup on, trying to put on blush. You blacker than me, trying to put blush on, so you could look like white people. Yo, we are not there. We are not in a space where we hate these people and we don't want to be like them. Right now, where we are at, we want to be them. So what does the revolutionary of this time do? What is our job? To try to convince the people to love themselves. You don't need to put a wig on, a weave on, lace, whatever you want to call it, to try to be beautiful, to try to look like them. You don't need to have the makeup on. You don't need none of that to be beautiful. You're beautiful by being you. I know women, I know black women that could just go outside with waves. They could just have waves on, cut their hair all the way down. They're still beautiful. They're more beautiful than anything I've seen in this world. But they don't believe that. They believe they got to have a freaking wig on, smelling like a wet mop. I hated the smells of them wigs growing up. Every time I talk to a female, like she used to be wearing all that, I hated the smell of it. But you can't tell a black woman that. They say you're being sexist because you want them to be natural. Hey, man, so I'll leave it alone, man. Even talking about it here, I'm kind of apprehensive. I don't want nobody to be like, yo, Africa don't like black women and shit. I mean, so go ahead, talk for now.
As soon as the native begins to pull on his moorings and cause anxiety to the settler, he is handed over to well-meaning souls who, in cultural congresses, point out to him the specificity and wealth of Western values. But every time Western values are...
See, when the masses start to say they're going to revolt, like, we tired of this, we don't want... You see, they got the Uncle Toms, the sellout, the managerial Negroes that tell us to go march, to go fight for a policy, for them to reform. That's what he's talking about. Every time every time we try to fight, they got people. I'm gonna bring it back a little bit.
Of Western values. But every time Western values are mentioned, they produce in the native a sort of stiffening or muscular lockjaw.
We are not there yet. Every time they bring up Thanksgiving, the 4th of July, it's supposed to be a stiffening. You're supposed to get a lockjaw because you're like, we not free. What are you talking about 4th of July? What are you talking about Christmas for? That's not my God. We are not at that point. When people are talking about where do we go from here, we have a lot of work to do. And that work starts by building institutions that teach generation after generation that we are not, they teach them to hate this system. They hate their holidays. They hate their Thanksgiving. Because all of this is a lie. We are not there.
What about Juneteenth, right? We recently got that holiday, which is, I'm grateful for that.
Are you free?
Hell no, but I'm grateful that we're recognizing Juneteenth. That's an important day in our history.
So what is Juneteenth then? If you're not free, what is Juneteenth?
The day the slaves found out they were free 2 years after they were actually
free. Are you free?
No.
So why are you celebrating being free?
You're right. Yeah.
I mean, and I'm not trying to shout you down. It's a whole bunch of people here. If somebody here believe like we are free, and like Juneteenth, we should be celebrating Juneteenth because we are free, they'll say so. I mean, so we can have this dialogue back and forth. But it's really simple to me. We celebrating being free, but I'm not free. Every day I'm going around saying I'm living under imperialism. Like that I'm not free, that the electoral process is a lie, it's a scam. Then how am I going to be celebrating being free? It seems contradictory. So, but I'm not talking to you per se. I'm talking in general. Because, you're not the only one dealing with Juneteenth. It's people that come to me as activists, we're going to do this for Juneteenth. People that I mess with. Other people that I think are revolutionaries. They come to me and talk about, let's do something for Juneteenth. And since I live here, you got to meet the people where they at. I got to go to the 4th of July shit. I got to go to Juneteenth because that's where they at. But if you ask me, if you ask Africa, man, Juneteenth is just like Christmas. It's just like Thanksgiving. Go ahead. What you said?
Nah, I just wanted to introduce. This is Milton Conway, but I prefer to be referred to as Bowie, man. I've been trying to talk to you in my head for a long time. I've been under a rock for a minute, man. I'm back outside. I need to talk to you, baby.
Who is Milton Conway?
Yeah. From
it's beautiful you popped up. You missed the whole show though, baby. You see how I'm doing the show and I'm still talking to you on Facebook?
Yeah, I'm not on Facebook. I called in because.
No. I know you called in now, but I'm saying you saw I sent you the link and all of that. You feel me?
Yeah, I was looking at what's going on outside, and Rockman decided he wanted to do a live, so I wanted to see what he was talking about real quick. But I went over there. I missed your
Nah, but that's okay. That's okay. We listened to Du Bois. We went through the Philadelphia Negro, and now we're doing little segments in the Wretched of the Earth by Frantz Fanon. And we're trying to get from these people their solutions on how we deal with our material condition. And we was talking on Facebook, and you said, let me get it right. Let me get exactly what you said on here. I don't want to misquote. Where we at? Patience, you got it?
I just had some questions, for my kids, man. Just my children was asking.
No, we go get to that. So you said, but to put it shortly, we need to. No, that's not you. Respectfully, I have to ask, what's your alternative? How do we unify? Once unified, where do we go? Will we be in perpetual state of war? Can I expect my grandchildren to ever live in peace in your world? Asking for my children. And what you call it? And I put somewhere down there. Let me see. You can't come together with traitors. I mean, that's what I had wrote after what you wrote. And then this whole show, we was talking about the class dynamic within black people. That's what that's what this whole show was about. When we went to Du Bois, Du Bois explained the 4 classes: the aristocracy, the petty bourgeois, the working class, the working poor, and then the poor. which class would you say you belong to in those four? The aristocracy, the petty bourgeois, the working poor, and the poor.
Damn, you want me to give you the real answer or the one? See, I could give you the politically correct answer, and I'll say I'm pretty much down there with the proletariat class, but I really know I'm above all classes. When I told you, that's what I told you. I'm above all classes.
You're above all classes. Hey.
Oh, I feel you. I feel not, but like when Du Bois is saying those four classes, yeah, yo, I feel like I'm above the aristocrats too. I feel like I'm above all them classes too. But in reality, wait, hey Tish, you wanted to say something?
No, I was just clapping because I feel the same way. Like I'm on paper, I'm in the lower class, but spiritually, mentally, I'm above
That's
all
it.
of them. That's all.
That's it right there, and that's where I'm at. So I come in, and my questions came from that perspective, Africa. No disrespect. Here's the thing, man. When and you know, you ain't heard from me or seen me on the scene for over a decade and a half. At the beginning of that 24 Hours of Peace stuff, that got developed and cultivated in the halls and walls of IYO when I was the president of the board, bro. So all of that was happening, and I've seen all of the movements that happened from the Newark anti-violence and all that, and I've been watching it, you know, with a pitying smile on my face, just watching everybody go through the changes they're going through. And when I see you and Raz going at it, I'm like, damn, why my brothers is bugging like this? And I understand the things that occurred in the time frame from when everything was good. The first time I met you in Patience, y'all was in that forum that Hakeem Green put on about the hip hop call to action. That's the first time we met, right?
Where was that? Where was that at?
That was at IYO.
That was at IYO. Like what year was it?
I remember it was years ago, over
years ago.
Years ago.
Like it had to be somewhere around 2010, maybe 2011.
Yeah, I remember.
Do you remember our politics back then?
Y'all had the same kind of you've been the same, bro. I can't take nothing away from you. You've been constant. Trust me, I take you had questions then, and it was questions that was coming from the same perspective, and that's why I respected it. And
all right.
So when I in the time, you gotta understand the role I played. Mr. Wallace played a big role in my life. My whole professional career is connected to Mr. Wallace because I came in his presence when I was 15 years old.
Who was Mr. Wallace?
James Wallace, the founder of IYO, International Youth Organization, that presently exists on 12th and Woodland.
What did he do?
Right.
What did he do for a living?
In addition to running the IYO, what he did for a living, he was the community relations representative for the Newark Fire Department. So if somebody had a fire, he would show up on the scene and make sure.
Yeah, we like firemen. We like them better than police.
Is IYO still active, or is that program? Does that program still around? Because they're getting rid of a lot of programs.
The agency is still here, and the program that it runs is the New Jersey Youth Corps program, which they'll never get rid of that one because it's written into the state constitution for it to be funded perpetually. And
okay.
As fate would have it, ironically, you're talking to the person that was the model for why that program even exists at the state level. When I was at IYO, I dropped out of high school because I was just totally disappointed, disenfranchised by the system, trying to tell me I was something that I was not. And I knew I was more than what I was. And that helped because Mr. Wallace would tell us the slogan for the program was, there's more to our youth than drug addicts, dropouts, and purse snatchers. And they also had another slogan that told us that it's attitude, not aptitude, that determines altitude. With those things being presented to me, my mind at that time was considering all that. And Mrs. Wallace was always trying to get us to get involved in church. And the first time I ever attended a church was at Mrs. Wallace's church. Well, not her church. She went to the church that Buster Soaries, Pastor DeForest Soaries, was having when he had it in Montclair. That was the first church I ever walked into. The first sermon I ever heard came from him in my life because my parents didn't give me and my brother's religion. They just let us live, and they taught us how to live righteous. So the concepts of what we did, we were just able to treat people like we wanted to be treated, move forward in the world, and pick up all the data that was here for us to study. And those are the things that was happening. But when I was 17, after going to that church and listening to what was going on and being with Mr. Wallace and him exposing me to all these politicians, I'm like, yo, these people that's in this so-called, this bourgeois class, they talk out both sides of their neck. And I'm not with that. So I don't even know if I want to align with either one of those. And I got Mr. Wallace is famous for telling me, like, Booby, you talk so much, you make people hate you. And I'm like, look, I'm only telling them the truth. What you want me to do? I don't know what to do with that. So here, at this point, bro, this is what I'm saying to you, and patients are the perfect example of family life and what families could do. And when I see what happens, I just be like, damn, what's happening there? Why this can't get reconciled? Because y'all got the perfect example of a husband and wife with your children and being active in the community to fight on behalf of the people and to have a real community vibe start to flow. It's just Africa, you harsh as fuck, bro.
Yeah. No, it's not that. I agree with you, like, yeah, but like, it's not that. Like, when you say harsh, to me, is I hold the line. Cause like,
I get it.
Yeah, cause like, not as a Marxist, as a Marxist, we're supposed to hold the Marxist line. Our philosophy, our theories do not change because we're trying to fit in. Like, if what you call it, if they were that easily dismissed or dispelled, then what's the point of even having a theory then? Because it's based on evidence and science. And according to the science, there's no amount of voting, there's no placating to the system that's going to change our material condition. And those that, if somebody believes the way we change our community is by working with the people that are in power, working with the imperialists, making deals with the imperialists, then that person is my enemy. Because the only, hold on. You could go in a second. The only way, according to France Fanon, according to our luminaries, the only way to defeat these people, the last must be first, and the first must be last. The people that own our homes, the people that control these jobs, these industries, they can no longer control them no more. They can no longer control our lives no more. They can no longer dictate what we learn in our schools, what we get in our media. That is our battle if we want to be free. There is no negotiation around that. So if that's where we're coming from, tomorrow somebody can't come tell me, hey, yo, vote for me. I'm going to go inside white supremacy, and I'm going to make it work for everybody. Yo, we know that's not how none of this works. You have to build your own institutions. So I'm not going to change tomorrow and be like, yeah, I'm going to support this person to go into that system, because we know that's not how you do it. So somebody that's part of that supports that system, that support these politicians, that support these people, you cannot be an ally of mine, because my duty is to destroy that system. So we can't be like, yeah, we can be like, yo, we cool. Go ahead.
Okay, I gotta ask you. So, that's where my questions came from in the beginning, bro. Just know that when I ask you those questions, I got answers, but I wanted to hear yours, and I wanted to see whether or not, because I'm looking to step back outside, and please know, Raz is my brother, long time. The character. Remember when Shorty for Mayor was being presented?
Yeah.
My brother designed Shorty. Raz was in our shop. My brother's an artist. We had doing it with the art, the hip hop shop. Everybody that knew back in the early '90s into the mid '90s, we was doing T-shirts, the Rest in Peace T-shirts that was flooding the streets back then. We was producing them in my shop. You know what I mean? So Raz, I grew up on 13th Street between Avon and Woodland. Raz grew up on 10th Street, 3 blocks away. Raz also used to come around where Mr. Wallace used to have the play streets on 12th and Woodland, and he would have different activities out there for the community. Raz would be there. So I grew up with Raz. I'm a few years older than him, but the situation being what it is, like me and Obalaji are more peers than me and Raz. So there's a concept where there's like a family vibe that never got broken. And even when Raz decided he was running for office, I questioned him as to what that was about, because I got the same concept in my head that you have, that this system ain't the way that it's going to work. The politics ain't the way that it's going to work. And then I'm one who, I started off as an atheist, but now I stand here as a somewhat of a member. I say somewhat because I ain't been active with the Baha'i community, but I'm more of a Baha'i than anything else. And the Baha'is' whole premise is to bring unity to all of the human family. But the main thing that's in the way is the issues here in America with racism and the concepts of the hierarchy that's been built upon this falsehood that this white supremacist concept. And until we can get them to eliminate that thought from their mind, and I don't want to have to fight the white man to get him to know that. All I can do is reveal the truth to him. If you such a supreme being, why you can't hang out in the sunlight as long as I can? It'd be just that simple.
All power to the people. All right, so
yeah, no doubt.
No. We, and look, and like when we talk here, I want you to come back all the time. Look, when we talk here, there's nothing wrong about talking and having ideological struggle. There's absolutely, yeah, man. That's what we're supposed to do. That's the first step in anything. I must understand what you're thinking, how you're thinking. I have to listen to you. I've been taking notes. I've been taking notes while you've been talking to listen to like. Yeah, I mean, like I take what you're saying seriously because I want to come to a solution. But as Panthers, we believe in combating liberalism. What is liberalism? There's a few things that we consider liberal that Mao called liberalism. Like to let things slide because you know somebody, because you're cool. To let their behavior, like people are homeless. All these people can't afford a place to stay. You as the mayor, as the person that's put in that place, that's a millionaire now, by the way, you're responsible for the people here, not for them to be thrown into the streets by slumlords. Since he's been mayor since 2012-13, how many people have lost their homes? How many people have been thrown to the streets? He is responsible for that. That's what the citizens, the taxpayers, the residents pay taxes for. So he could be our watchdog. Not one single realtor, not one single slumlord has been to jail. Nobody has been prosecuted for the level of gentrification that has happened in our community, the police brutality, all of these things that I have witnessed with my own two eyes, even programs that he said he was going to put in place that were going to do things for the people in the community. After you take a close look at those programs, there are people in there that don't even deserve to be there. They're not qualified. So these programs are just fronts. And then so we work with the people. We get people call us and we come in and we look at the paperwork of how they got thrown out their homes and stuff, and we see that the landlord is doing some funny stuff, and we send that paperwork down to City Hall, to MacGyver office. We send that paperwork to Ras Baraka office, and then the landlords turn around and put more pressure on those residents to get them kicked out the building, and these politicians don't come down to help these people.
They're actually complicit. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but you speak. This is powerful right here. I've been going through something. This what got me mad at Ross because I'm realizing the same shit. Like, I heard the rumors or whatever the case may be about him, but I never convicted him based off what other people experienced with the man. Recently, what I've been going through is exactly this. It just opened my eyes to exactly who he is. He's not for the people. He's boule, and I can prove it. Through their paperwork, sending Roz and them paperwork, that shit ain't going to do nothing because he's complicit, and I can prove that shit. Through different department heads of City Hall, like code enforcement. He's with the shit. Like, he act completely oblivious to what's going on, but behind the scenes, he know what's going on. Corruption down there is the culture. They do that shit. He allowing a lot of that shit to go on, for one. The bribes, the bribery, all that. He's allowing that to go. He know what's going on, but at the same time, he rocking us to sleep like everything is okay, and it's not. Like, we stupid. I'm watching it in real time, him literally destroy us from the inside out. Like, it's crazy.
Hey, Tish, that was a perfect word. You see, and I like how you cut in. That's the fuck I'm talking. Excuse my language. We can't be using profanity here. The platform that we on, we shouldn't be using profanity. But look, that's what I'm talking about when I'm saying we having a conversation. Act like we outside, we at the barbecue, we talking. You want to get in and say your point, as soon as I pause for a breath like Tish just did, cut in. Because that word you just used, complicit. These people are complicit in our abuse, in our oppression. These people are so you can't be my brother. I don't care if I've known you my entire life. I don't care if you my mama. You cannot be the highest level of solidarity that we have is called comrade. When I say comrade, that means you in the foxhole with me. Your brother, sister, mother, father, all of these are terms that came about from our owners, the people that owned us. They gave us all these definitions. As a revolutionary, the highest level of camaraderie is comrade. When I say comrade, that means you with me in the foxhole. You're not over there with the slumlords. You're not sitting down around the table with Zionists, dividing up our community for these Zionists that are we are just like Palestine. But in Palestine, their leadership understand what they're dealing with. And their leadership know we should build bunkers. We should build underground tunnels to survive these people. Our leadership is selling us away to the Zionists. And you see them around in North. There's nobody that live in North that tell me you don't see these people with their little goofy hats, with their little two braids on the side of their head, walking around the city like they own the city. Because they do own it. And we're their cattle. And all of this is done through the complicity. It's due to the complicity of these people that are in position of power that are supposed to be working for us, but they're not. The election day is Tuesday. I'm going to say it here. I'm Nostradamus. The entire Baraka team is going to win. The entire Baraka team is going to win. Because
I believe that too. I believe that too.
They belong. And you know how you believe that? Because they win every election cycle. Because they belong to Massa. Massa fund their campaign. Massa give them the money. Massa provide the platforms for them to reach the people. Yo, I worked in the Baraka campaign. They have telephone numbers. They have telephone numbers of everybody that's been voting since 2000, the 1990s. They have all this data that they just go to. They give these people the little special treats, whatever they got to give these people to get these people out. They bring the buses to come pick them up. They have a steady number of people that are going to show up at those voting booths. And if they don't win, they got a way to fix a deck where they still win. So I'm going to tell you, Tuesday, these people are going to win again. And they're going to do absolutely nothing to change, to bring down gas, to bring down housing, to bring down anything, to bring down food. They're going to do absolutely nothing to fix the schools. And then they're going to come back again for election, and they're going to keep winning. Until when? Until we decide to walk away and build our own institutions. Until we organize the people. Because, like I told you, they had the school board election. 2.9 people voted. 2.9 people out of a city of 350,000 people. 2.9% of the people voted. There's a large populace there to be able to reach and go organize and work with to build industries in our community. That's the struggle. That's the fight. Going to go vote for these people, going to march to beg these people is going to solve absolutely nothing. And I'm going to tell you this, even if the Baraka administration don't win, or the other people win, absolutely nothing is going to change. How do I know that? It's been happening for the last 60, 70, 80, 100 years. Because that's not what it's here for. This is what the system is here for. This is exactly what the system is. You see how he got up off those people? You see how he's about to go get his stuff from? Pay attention. The commodification of time and space. This is the reality that we live in. We are all part of the exploitation. I don't care if you're a cop. I don't care if you're a teacher, because you're a teacher, you're not teaching nothing. You're showing people how for them to be able to serve the imperialists, to be workers in the system. I don't care what you do. There's absolutely nothing you do in the society where you're benefiting the people or bringing about liberation. This is what we all go through. No matter what you do at the end of the day, we are doormats for the imperialists. They wipe their feet on us. So you could have a boss that is exploiting you at your job. There's somebody else exploiting him. This is the reality we're in. And no matter who you vote for, this doesn't change. The only way you change this is by the people walking away from the system, standing up. You have to stand up and say, no, we're not going to that job. We're going to create our own industries. We're going to build our own industries. But participating in their electoral process, by going to their voting booth, by doing any of that, will not solve our material condition. And that's what Frantz Fanon, W.E.B. Du Bois is showing us in their works. Now, let me go back here. Let me go back.
1 second, Chairman.
Go back.
Going back to landlords and them not being held accountable. Kenyatta Stewart is the corporate counsel for the city of Newark, and he was just recently elected as assemblyman. His first thing that he put out as assemblyman is to hold these landlords accountable for harassing residents, for harassing them, for doing illegal stuff like illegally evicting them, all this stuff. This is how disingenuous these people are. This bill he put forth hasn't passed yet, but it's saying like if they find them criminal, they might be charged with like disorderly conduct, and if it's a repeated offense, they'll get charged with disorderly conduct, repeat behavior, whatever. But that does not put them in jail. But the other thing that makes this disingenuous, he sat in Newark for 12 years as corporate counsel for the city of Newark. That means he's supposed to be corporate counsel for the people of Newark. Nothing in his mind came, let me create a legislation for city council to help the people with this slumlord stuff. No, I'm going to wait till I get elected as assemblyman where I know for sure nothing's going to happen because a bill to pass, it's harder for a bill to pass than a city legislation or whatever the heck. So they just going, moving, they getting promoted just to continue to do nothing and act like they're doing something.
Lying to us. They lied to us. Because believe it or not, whether they put the bill in or put the bill get passed or they put the legislation in, like Africa said, nothing's going to change. It's just more rhetoric to rock us to sleep. I'm telling you, I can show you exactly how they do it, and this is what's mind-blowing to me. I don't even feel like white supremacy is the biggest issue we have. I feel like it's us. It's us against us. And I believe the people who penetrate these systems, who help them accomplish what the goal to basically oppress us, that's the biggest issue. I feel like the bootlickers, the boule, the ones who work with whites, those are the people in Ra's predicament. Those are the biggest threat to us. That's what I feel.
Hey, Tish, it's like that's what you feel, but that's what all these revolutionary books that we have. Like, where's this book at? Where's my Mao book at? This book, like we read right here, we read Mao, because Mao defeated these people. Mao defeated imperialism, and when you read Mao, and he's gonna tell you, what you just alluded to is called like what you call it, first and secondary antagonism, whatever. Our first line is within us, within the people, within the race of people. If we're not together within, we can't defeat nobody. And inside us, these people that control the masses of the people have already sold out already. And that's what I'm trying to see if Fanon is going to say it on here.
In capitalist societies, the educational system, whether lay or clerical, the structure of moral reflexes handed down from father to son, the exemplary honesty of workers who are given a medal after 50 years of good and loyal service, and the affection which springs from harmonious relations and good behavior, all these aesthetic expressions of respect for the established order serve to create around the exploited person an atmosphere of submission and of inhibition, which lightens the task of policing considerably. In the capitalist countries, a multitude of moral teachers, counselors, and, quote, bewilderers, unquote, separate the exploited from those in power. In the colonial countries, on the contrary, the policeman and the soldier, by their immediate presence and their frequent and direct action, maintain contact with the native and advise him by means of rifle butts and napalm not to budge. It is obvious here that the agents of government speak the language of pure force. The intermediary does not lighten the oppression nor seek to hide the domination. He shows them up and puts them into practice with the clear conscience of an upholder of the peace.
The intermediary, that's the Ras Barakas. Those are the managers of the community. They're there to uphold the peace, to maintain the status quo.
Admiral de Gaulle speaks of, quote, the yellow multitude, the colonialist bourgeoisie, which realizes that it is impossible for it to maintain its domination over the colonial countries, decides to carry out a rearguard action with regard to culture.
Yo, like right there. Yo, they know, like, white people, we say, like, white people are our enemy. They know from history. We've had ancestors that have revolted and fought back. So they know they can't just come in here and be white people everywhere. The people are going to revolt. So they come through rear guard culture values. They come through the back door by putting everybody in power to look like us. To put our council people, our mayors, our schools, everything look like us. Now we cannot look at the principal or the superintendent or look at the mayor, look at these people and be like, nah, something going on here. It looks like we are part of it, that this is how the world is supposed to be, how reality is supposed to be, and all of this is done through rear guard by using our own people to administer this suffering. And that's what he's talking about right here.
Values, techniques, and so on. Now, what we must never forget is that the immense majority of colonized peoples is oblivious to these problems.
Most of our people, the masses of the people are oblivious to this. The masses of the people don't even know this is going on. And we have to understand that. That's what he's saying. They're oblivious to these problems. Because why? Why are they oblivious?
For a colonized people, the most essential value, because the most concrete, is first and foremost the land which will bring them bread and above all dignity.
So the people that's working at McDonald's, that's working at all these jobs, barely able to pay rent, they're not worrying about all this stuff. They're worrying about bread, eating. So they don't care about none of these things. Our duties as revolutionaries is to build the institutions that show them and enable them for them to be able to liberate themselves. That's what we do as Panthers. That's what Pantherism is. And anybody that's not doing that, that's not building these institutions, organizing the people to see this, they're not doing Pantherism. This is what Huey P. Newton, Fred Hampton, the people that started the organization, this was their purpose. That's why we call ourselves Panthers, because we followed this line. We hold these truths that we must build these institutions in our community to liberate our people. No amount of voting or anything is going to liberate them.
But this dignity has nothing to do with the dignity of the human individual, for that human individual has never heard tell of it. All that the native has seen in his country is that they can freely arrest him, beat him, starve him, and no professor of ethics, no priest has ever come to be beaten in his place, nor to share their bread with him. As far as the native is concerned, morality is very concrete. It is to silence the settler's defiance, to break his flaunting violence, in a word, to put him out of the picture.
And that's what our job is, to put the landlord out the picture. I'm not trying to negotiate with the landlord 5% raises, because now they could raise our rent every year. This is what the politicians have negotiated with the landlords, for them to be able to raise our rent legally every year. That's what you put people in power for. Instead of putting people in power that's going to go in and be like, nah, we're bringing this rent back down to $26 a month, the same it was in 1896. They're not saying that. They're not coming to the battle, to the table, when they say we need somebody on the inside. These people go on the inside and they come out with bills and policies like every year the landlords can go up 5%. 5% is not bad. That's good, ain't it? 5% is not a lot. This is what these politicians say. And Fanon is telling you, we have to remove them, the politicians and the slum lords. How do you remove them? We go into a cooperative and we buy our own industry, get our own homes, buy our own apartment buildings. It can be done. But the people have to be organized to do so. And because remember, it's stages to this. We are not at the stage where Fanon is talking about, where we understand that we must do this. This is like my third time saying that. Because in the revolution, there's stages. The stage that we're in is people are starting to wake up a little bit. People are starting to wake up like this ain't making sense. is starting to hit their pockets. They, like with social media, with everything, it's like you can't hide stuff from people. They're starting to see it, but they really don't know what they're seeing. The stage we need to get to, which is a couple of years down the line, is where anytime you bring up any of like voting, the whole community is upset. The whole community tell you to get out the community. Don't come back around here. If you're a politician, you walk up in the community, they're throwing tomatoes at you. That's where we need to be. We're not there yet. There's a lot of work that we have to do in our community. I was gonna play this to break down the voting rights thing, because like it's a whole, like, man, this is like 12 minutes where they're basically talking about the voting rights, what happened last week with the voting rights. In a nutshell, the black boule have tried to carve out a way for them in the system by saying they're going to be the spokespeople for black people. So like wherever black people were at, that's like we read in the Philadelphia Negro, they put all the black people, all the poor people in one area, and you're able to basically control them that way. So black people, instead of saying like, all these people shouldn't be poor, we shouldn't have all these black people poor, we should be able to do something, build institutions. Black people, black boule, the black traders was like, nah, just make us the ones that control these areas. Make us the senators, the Congress people that control these areas. So since from 1896 all the way until now, our communities are still being ran down. We still have no political power because these black boules were put in power in that system to control that area, but not make it better. So now what the Supreme Court, that's supposed to justify the crimes of the rich, the Supreme Court says today, after they don't fought, they had a long fight for them to be able to get that carved out in, 1965, voting rights, for when they carved all this stuff out. Remember, 1965. Now in 2026, the Supreme Court said, whatever, man, erase all them lines, whatever, break all that up. So now, these black people, these black boule politicians, they're no longer going to be able to use that black vote for them to get rich and become millionaires. So now they're running around crying, because now white supremacy is pushing them back down the plantation again. And we said they want the black people to get upset because these black people are not going to be in position of power. But why should we be upset? What have you done for the people since you people been in power? Only you been eating, you and your children. You got health care. You live in a suburb with a pool and what you call it, a fireplace. Now, I mean, your children got insurance. All of y'all go to the dentist. You got everything. Y'all travel. Y'all go around the world, do all this. This is what you sold your soul for. But now, go ahead.
Yeah, I got muted before, man. When the brother was talking and he introduced the word complicit, it was something that sparked things that I need to add to the conversation. Just so that you know, bro, I was born in Newark in 1966, the year before the revolution. The rebellion, right? So check it. Everything that I've seen in my life that has shown me what we're going through, and all the things that you study, the books that you're reading from and studying from, been exposed to them. This is my 60th year. In November, I'll be 60, bro. And I've been here looking at this thing for the longest time. That time when we met, it was because I decided my business had been shut down. I had got accused of a crime and had to spend 6 months in the county jail after years prior being a correction officer for the state of New Jersey. So I've been on both sides of the law. Everything in your conversation, Africa, is an experience that the universe showed me in a physical form on how to develop the ideas that we could do. So complicit. Now, when we talk about RAS, when we talk about housing, we talk about the things that's going on at the city level, are we not recognizing the fact that the city falls within the jurisdiction of the county? And that the county executive been in that spot, that executive officer has been in that spot twice as long as Raz been in his spot. And the conditions that we've been living under for not just 20 years, not just 12, but 20 and 30 years, that the brother in the county executive spot, or the person in the because he ain't a brother, he do what he do, and he worked for his other like I heard the young man say, it ain't the white supremacy. It might not be, but it's damn sure got something to do with the Italians thinking they're superior to the niggas that's amongst them. It damn sure got something to do with the mob being corrupt and all coming into the system as a corrupt organization that spread across the nation. So how we going to miss that? How we going to miss the fact that not only did they do what they do, they did what they did, and if they started in the underclass and they started at the proletariat level and they built institutions and organizations that fell all the way outside of the legal confines of this United States of America and the jurisdictions that are established to make sure people believe that this is where you get regulated to. As I said, bro, I am so far above and so sovereign to this situation that if I speak too much, the Trump administration gonna level them damn treasonous charges against me, and ain't nobody gonna know what to do to come get me the fuck up out of there. We seen political prisoners stay captive for decades, live and die inside behind the walls, bro. We got it. If we don't get this right, Africa, like seriously, I totally got respect for who you are as a person and what you do as a family man. It's just the only things that I can't fully respect and can't lend my energy to is the vulgarities and the things of that nature. The energy, your warrior melody, the way that you fight the war, it for lack of a better word, is foolish to me. And I'm not trying to be offensive when I say it, because there's a wise way to do things and there's the foolish way to do things. And
this military, right?
You already know.
All right, now go ahead. Keep going.
It's Booby. Please make sure you understand. Milton was my father's name. Even though he gave me his name, I don't want to carry it further because that's the name that the system got with all the charges levied against it. And when you say that name, people go look it up and they're like, that nigga's just a rapist or the accused rapist. That ain't me. That ain't who I am. That ain't who I was. When you look at the record and see what happened and how it got how everything happened in that system, they had to let me go with just the resisting arrest. Because when you accuse me, you come to arrest me for some shit that I know I didn't do. Excuse me, my French. You said I can't curse. You come to arrest me for something I know I didn't do. Of course, I'm gonna resist you. It was 5 officers.
All power to the people. We'll talk about that later. But I want to stick over there to what you said about Raz. Hey yo, like I told you, I just held up the book by Mao, whatever. When Mao was fighting in China, when they're trying to liberate China, they had to fight the Chinese people. They had to fight other Chinese people.
Nah, I got you.
No, hold on. Even though they had to fight the other Chinese people, right? They had the Europeans. They had the strongest armies in the world. They had the British, the French. They had the everybody. America was coming in there, and they had to fight them too. So they had to fight not only the Chinese people that were aligned with the British. They had to fight the British and the Americans and all these people. I'm saying all of that to say this. Ras Baraka, when he talk, when he do his campaign, whatever, when he goes to places talking, he don't talk about the county being racist and being exploitative. He don't talk about the landlords, how there's nothing he could do because these are the people. He talks about all the development, all the stuff that has come into the city, negating all the thousands of families that were thrown into the streets. And I'm not talking about just on his watch. I'm talking about, let's go back to the 90s, because we have never had it good here. My whole life growing up in Newark, it has never been sweet. I grew up in the 90s, going to Westside High School, Velsburg Middle, going to all these different schools. And all they used to talk about was how bad the schools were, and the state was going to come in to take it over. So we have never had it good. But when you talk to Raz, he talk about all he has done for these imperialists, for all these people. So I don't see
let me ask you this.
Hold on, what's his name? DeVincenzo, whatever, the county executive, all these people. I don't see these people in our community. I see the mayor, I see the council people with their what you call it? What you call it earlier? You said that the community stuff they be doing with the hip hop artists.
They're 24 hours apiece.
24-hour piece.
Yeah, this is the stuff I see, the bread and circuses that they bring here to try to put the wool over the people's eyes, to tell them who is really oppressing them. So to me, he is complicit in what is going on to the people in the city. It's nothing personal. I don't sit here and just be like, man, damn, Ras Baraka. Yo, he is my enemy because he has aligned himself with our oppressors. And the language that I used to describe them, Uncle Tom, bootlickers, sellouts and traitors to the people. This is the language that should be on everybody's tongue when they
Nah, man.
when they see when they see these people in our community. And you're saying no because you know them.
There's a reason. No, that's not why I'm saying no. The reason why I'm
Wow.
saying no is on the spirit. I'm a spiritual being.
We're not dealing with spirituality. We're not dealing with spiritual. We're dealing with hard facts outside.
Hold up. If I tell you that that's where your problem is, and I'm not saying spirituality in the conventional sense that you might know of it. When I say I'm a spiritual being, it's because I understand the connection between my spirit, my mind, and my body, or the way my soul is connected to the spirit. And it's not a mystery situation for me. I'm giving you data that will help you recognize what I'm talking about. If I know I got the power to live on the physical plane and address things in the physical realm by way of my five senses, I'll do that. But when I need to elevate to the other senses, my third eye, my insight, my intelligence, my intuition, and the instincts, and all of those I words that you can't really see in the physical realm, I speak to those. But then I go beyond that and raise my vibration to the highest plane possible, which is that spirit realm. That's where I'm at. So here's the analogy that I came up with. It's like a 100-story building. If I'm outside on the ground floor of a 100-story building, then I can see, smell, taste, hear, and feel things. And I'll have an emotional attachment or reaction to those things that I've been exposed to, that my mental has the ability to process. But then when I elevate and go up into the building, I get the power to look out, let's say from the 50th story, and I look out, and I can still smell the smells a little bit. I can still see it, but I'm further away from it, and I'm not as directly affected when I'm in my mind. If I'm dealing with things on the mental plane, I can deal with them, and I got a bit of peace that I can deal with, and I can solve a problem because I can see it from above it. I'm not in the midst of it. It's not like I'm lost seeing the tree and can't see the forest because the tree is in my way. Then when I go elevate to the roof and I look down, now I can transcend space and time because I can see some shit that's coming from far away. And when I go back downstairs, I can meet it and beat it. If I need to defeat it, it won't exist anymore. You understand what I'm saying to you? So when I hear you making these physical world arguments and fights, I'm with you there, but I also want to invite you to come up to the roof with me, come up to the spirit plane, and look out and see what we got to do to assess what's going on a little bit better. I want to take you on a little mental reconnaissance mission. I hear everything that you studied. I hear all the books that you studied. I recognize those things too, but even they fall into the line because it's English words. And as fate would have it, I only know the English language, or some people say I know Ebonics. For what it's worth, you got to know that bligger word that I use. I'm a black intellectual, insightfully ignorant nigga. That's who I am. And as fate will have it, I'm here at a point in time with such a revolutionary person like yourself. And at some point, I would love to be honored to be called comrade when it comes down to it. But the difficulties that come with that is because I got children and I got grandchildren, and they still somewhat trapped in the triple stages of darkness. They dumb, deaf, and blind to the ways of those who know how to manipulate them by putting things in front of them that like you said, constructed these systems that keep us trapped. I'm here, like I'm truly liberated. I'm truly free, and I know where my freedom came from. I got it myself. It's like the kid in the Matrix that told Neo that he saved him. Neo said, "No, you saved yourself." And
you pay rent?
Talk to me.
You pay rent?
You said what?
Do you pay rent?
Do I pay rent? Yes, I do.
You pay how do we get the people that can't pay rent spiritually for them to pay their rent?
There's many ways. Now here, this is where nonprofit, the construct of the system, it leaves a way. The nonprofit sector is where that happens. You form an institution where you make sure you got the resources to help the people pay their rent. Now here's the thing. It's like if you got
hold on. No, let's go one at a time. You form an institution with that nonprofit. Where's the money coming from?
When you got a 501c3 status, you can actually pull it from the aristocratic class and the bourgeois class.
So what you're saying is the poor people should get nonprofits, and then the boulets, the rich people, are going to give them the money for them to be able to sustain themselves.
It's been happening all the time. Just the people, like you said, we got poverty pimps amongst us. They form these institutions like churches and nonprofits, and they only serve the people at the superficial level.
We had a nonprofit for about a decade, and all the work that we did in the community, nobody ever sent us any money. because hold up a second.
Go ahead.
Because our nonprofit was Ma'at Youth Services, and all the work that we did was to teach people to walk away from the system that you're saying still have your children in that dark place. We try to build institutions to make sure we keep the children out of that dark place. The politicians, the corporations, the state, the people that got the money, they refuse to send money to that because it's counter to what they're doing. So it's like, so when you say the nonprofits,
I hear you. So I want to say this to you. I want to tell you. I understand that example. IYO is 50 some odd years old. It'll be, I believe, 56 years old. And Mr. James and Carolyn Wallace had similar problems where they wasn't getting the funding, and that was one of the questions that hit me. I'm like, watching them beg hat in hand to the government agencies and to the corporations that was here, and wondering why it was so difficult for them, who's doing this great work with the young people in the community, to get the funding. And when I got there, when I was there after Mr. Wallace died in 2005, I started going back to help Ms. Wallace try and keep it going. I recognized this very thing that you was talking about. Now, Mr. Wallace was the Central Ward Democratic Committee chair for like 20 years up until he died. And when it's a lot that we could talk, and I could build on a lot of history in this place. Like I told you, I'm 60 years old this year, and I've been paying attention to what's been going on my entire life.
He was the head of what?
International Youth Organization.
No. He was the head of this. You say he was the head of the Central Committee Democratic what?
Central Ward Democratic Committee.
And you think somebody that's the head of this?
And that's why your money is in the state. That's why you got perpetual funding. Come on now, we gotta go.
No. Look,
it's 248.
Oh no, here's what I'm saying to you, and I want y'all to understand this. I'm not saying it to support it. I can't stand that program. That program within the organization, it choked out the life of all of the other beneficial programs that the agency could have ran, because Mrs. Wallace was focused on that perpetual funding.
All right, so look, listen, Booby, right? Hey, we supposed to end this at 2:45. We passed the time already. But look, listen. No, listen to me. There's an open invitation for everybody to come here for us to have this conversation. We do this every Sunday at 12. And at 7:30 on Wednesdays, we on YouTube with a political education class. That's where we have all these conversations. So I'm not trying to cut you off, because I want us to have these conversations. So please, I'm gonna send you the link. Please pull up next week or pull up on Wednesday. Now, but for right now, we gotta go because our time is up.
All right, bro.
So everybody that's here, all power to the people. I live for the people. I die for the people. And after Tuesday, we still got work to do, man. Like, we still got work out here to do. Tune in. Pull up. Let's build these institutions in our community to serve our people. All power to the people.
All power to the people.
All power to the people.
You see it. Hey, I'll see you later, Rodrigo. I don't even see how to cut this off up here. Rodrigo ain't say nothing the whole time. I just heard him. Where's the red thing at here?
Oh, that was a great show today. I didn't need to say anything except that one part when somebody asked if Malcolm X lived. He lived in petty bourgeois or any version. He was being evicted from his house in Queens during the time where he was having his, during the time that he was having his static with the Nation of Islam.
But listen. Rod, you should have said something, bro. We gotta go.
It got spoken about because you already answered it. You said that he was being supported by the Nation of Islam, so it was true. It's just that they were on the verge of making him homeless and his family, and then his house got firebombed.
All power to the people. We gotta go. Talk to you next week.
All power.